I would totally be making them. But we could make some at the con.
Yeah, no, I want to make one of those videos like you did with the pizza in the.
Dude, we could totally film us making cocktails.
This one's really good because I call it the air scooter.
All right,
let's go,
guys. We're back.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We're here.
Back. It's no longer just for kids.
It's no longer just for kids. It is for everyone.
We called Anakin. He slayed the younglings. It is now not for kids.
Okay.
Welcome to the not for kids version.
Hi, my name's Anakin.
Hi, Anakin.
Hi, Anakin. Are you a master?
You all are legally above the age of 18, correct?
Well, I mean, I can give you my rate.
Is there someone who's illegally above the age of 18, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you all legally above the age of 18?
People that are illegally over the age of 18 are like those people that are like, oh, I know I look 7, but I'm actually a 10,000-year-old dragon. They're illegally over the age.
Okay, yes,
Same.
Yes. Did you just say same?
I mean, have you seen Cow and I? We look very young for our age.
I mean, yes. Well, sorry. Yeah, I should say also same.
Same, yeah. We are illegal.
Also, I 100% identify as a dragon. What do you mean?
I'm literally the year of the dragon. This is my year. Let's go.
Jealous.com.
I need to repost that meme from the other group chat of where it's just a bunch of shy guys and it says the Child Squad.
Today, we're going to be watching The Deserter. You can remember that one with this handy mnemonic device. Deserter, dessert, delicious treats, snacks, zhang, a snack. There you go.
Okay then. All right, here we go. Everyone's made their way back in. Hello, Zoth. Hello, Multipower. Hello, our usuals who have come in. Our faithful followers.
I love them. They're the ATLA fam. Let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody who comes to these streams can either pick to be an Aracolite or a metal bending student. You pick. Which one would you rather be, a lily liver or an Aracolite?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, sound off chat. What do you guys want to be?
Which one would you rather be? If you're a lily liver, you get to bend metal and learn from Toph. If you're an Aracolite, you get to, I guess, learn about air nomad culture and
never eat meat for the rest of your life.
Wow, way to like unfairly balance it, Kate. Immediately.
It's the truth. They got to know what they're signing up for.
Will I wonder who you're biased for, Kate?
Alrighty, I'm gonna introduce myself because I'm leaving.
Oh yes.
Hello, friends. I am Kauthar Harak Sharif, the voice of Toph in our Book 4 Air production. I am also very honored to be on the writing team, and I am blowing this popsicle stand. Later, Gators.
Okay, bye-bye.
What a legend.
I love you. Bye.
What a
Oh my
legend.
god, I will never be this cool.
I know, right? That's me too. I'm like, damn, I'll never be that cool.
Sometimes I feel like she's still here with us.
I refuses to elaborate, move.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Ash. Welcome. Yes. I don't know. I want to be a metal bender too, actually. if we're taking bets.
Well, I'm a spirit bender because I'm bending all these spirits in these cocktails.
Hey, I get it. Yo.
No. I think that's a spirit blender, actually.
I was talking to Jazzy today, speaking of metal benders, about how badly I want to make like an abridged series for Korra, but call it It's Always Sunny in Republic City, and just have the entire Korra gang just act like the gang from like Always Sunny, where they're just the worst. Like have them show up in Republic City and Amon's like a legit civil rights activist. He's like, all right, guys, we're all going to do our peaceful like picket line protesting, pro-bending to like bring attention to the economic disadvantages suffered by non-benders. And Korra shows up and she's like, you! And like starts punching people. And so then the news reports it as a terrorist attack. And Amon's like, all right, so that wasn't very successful because of the Avatar.
Lucia, can you please voice Amon for the definitely sequel that
but they're not. But you see, they're not. But you see, they're not gonna turn down the invasion of the Northern Water Tribe because of the implication.
Yeah. Bro, or Unalog, are we gonna hurt these people? No. Are you even listening to me, Korra? No, we're not gonna hurt them. We're gonna go down there and we're gonna ask them to submit to our rule. They could totally turn us down if they want to, but they won't because of the implication.
So, are we going to have Iroh trying to like manufacture the fake training exercise to incite civil war as Charlie trying to trick the health inspector.
No. What I wanted to do is that Unalaq, after everything he's done, and everyone constantly tells Korra, like, Korra, he has an angle. Nobody would want to help the nature and the spirits for no reason. And they're like, no, he wants to do it for good reason. It's like, nah, dude, he has an angle. And at the end, he's like, I tricked you. I'm actually going to absorb the spirit to become the Dark Avatar. She's like, ah, damn it, he had an angle.
Alrighty then. I was about to say, I see metal benders in the chat. No air. We have a donation from Ash, saying you'd have to make that because of the implications.
Because of the implications, you have to make it. I just think it'd be really funny. Like, you just make them all the worst people ever, and make all the villains like the best people ever. Like they're just doing their best to help people.
Poor unfortunate people who want to help but are now villainized.
The beginning of Korra Book 4 is just the gang broke D.
Yeah, the gang broke Korra, yeah. Anyway, we should probably actually watch Avatar.
Right, we should probably introduce ourselves.
Yeah, finish the introductions, then we'll get back to business.
So like, which episode of It's Always Sunny are we watching as like an equivalent to our...
Well, first we're doing Avatar. So this one we weren't doing Always Sunny equivalents. That's for Korra because we already had some funny ideas for it. But for this one, we are watching Zhang Zhang's The Deserter first, I believe. Yes. I said that like it's his TV show, Zhang Zhang's The Deserter.
Yeah, we have The Deserter and the Northern Air Temple on the queue today.
Also known as the second favorite temple.
Yeah. All right, actually, we go down the list and introduce ourselves for prosperity.
All right. Oh, well, I guess one quick oh, actually, yeah, go ahead and introduce. I'll do the last thing before we start. So, at the top, that is you, Adam.
Oh, hi, my name is Adam New. I voice Hotun in the project, and as well as the official webtoon advertisements dub for the Promise.
Which makes him the official voice of Hotun. Let's go.
I don't see anyone else. Woo-hoo. I don't see anyone else voice him in any official work. I think that makes me the only official.
You are the official voice of Hotun. Let's go.
You said it would happen.
I told you. You got it. You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Woohoo. Yeah, and
this whole team is stellar.
Yes.
So proud of everyone.
Very lovely group we have here. Yes, and then there's me. I'm Curtis. I create videos. I do video editing. I do the management of the YouTube stuff. And as of this past, what was it? Wait. Nope, never mind. That's for next week, actually. You guys will find out what I meant next time, maybe. Not next week, 2 weeks. Anyways, Dorn, cover up my mistakes. Speak for me.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Dorn. I recently joined this lovely group in the writers' room. Been following them for a while. They're all amazing and happy to be here. And if there's any Warhammer 40k fans, shout out to you because you'll know who I'm named after. The Praetorian of Terra. But I'll stop nerding out there. But yeah, happy to be here with all of you. You all amazing.
Woohoo. Yes, and then Iris.
Hello, I am Iris. I am tragically not a Warhammer 40k fan, so that reference was lost on me. I am, however, someone who has helped out doing jobs on these book projects on occasion, and I am the upcoming voice of Alua, the meddling?
Trifling.
Trifling. Yeah, I always get those two confused.
You could say that we're
I
no
meddle
longer
when I trifle, and I trifle when I should meddle.
Alua is
this is why I always get silver medal.
That betrays her to Ozai. She's going to show up in the search, so it's going to be Iris supremacy going forward.
I would never do that.
Zuko's days are numbered. You're not going to be the main character for long. You and Aang, you had it too good for too long. Alua will rise.
Yeah. Alrighty then. And then finally, it's been a while, but finally returned to us.
Yeah. My name is James Riley. I am the music director for the Book 4 Air Restoration project. I've had to miss the last couple of weeks because I am a full-time musician and I gig regularly. But I am glad to be back today.
Yeah. Alrighty, and then
I missed your music analyses.
Yeah, and then the fire sibs at the bottom.
Hello, Firelord Regent Azula here. Don't worry about my dumb brother. Who cares about Firelord Zuko? I'm the one here with the plans and all the planning of the over-planning because Daddy doesn't love me! Anyway, brother, what would you like to say to that?
Hello, Zuko here. But I guess you already knew that, because, you know, if you talk to me for more than 2 seconds, I'm probably going to trauma dump and tell you all the problems in my life because I never know how to read a room. Even my own friends will offer to frickin' kill me just to shut me up sometimes. Like, you know. Anyway, I can't keep a girl. I can't keep a friend. My uncle lives on the other side of the planet from me. Like, even he doesn't want to be around here. But, you know, sure. My sister with her plans is the problem. Not like I could stand to learn anything from that.
Anyway, who cares what you have to say, Zuko? Ha ha, I'm crazy.
I have a joke for you, Azula.
Oh, you have a joke for me,
Yeah.
Zuzu.
What do you say to me if I have 2 burns on my face instead of only 1 burn scar?
I don't got to say anything because I already told you twice.
Yeah, you don't say anything because you already told me twice, Zuko.
Oh, look, you had to break character, Azula. Come on, we got a thing going.
I was liking where this was
very
going.
normal.
This is the yes,
I am so glad that Zuko and Azula have dropped this whole switcheroo bit they had going on for the first 2 of these original ATLA watch-through things and have just
Finally
returned to
came
their
out.
original voices.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We've always talked like this.
No, she's saying
We're not doing impressions of impressions.
No, not anymore.
Okay, yeah. All right,
But we
then.
were. But we were.
So yeah, so we're gonna get in here. Before we do have some quick announcements. So first of all, someone asked us, when is episode 6 going to come? Well, we just released episode 5, so it is gonna be a little bit. If you have noticed, our rotation of episode releases in the past has been roughly every 3 months. We are trying to knock it down to 2, but that is a pretty good estimate. And as usual, we will have you sneak peek content, stuff from shorts, little clips, and other little goodies, because especially we got the search coming up, and we got some special things coming with that. So you'll see a bit more promo for that than you have with previous stuff on the channel.
I actually want to say that we're gonna show some clips never before seen for the search at CabbageCon.
Yeah.
And those preview clips will not go up on the normal channel, but if you're on Patreon, you guys will get to see the panel clips.
Yeah,
So
flawless
Patreon.
transitions into the other things. Yes, because the other thing is, why are we only doing 2 episodes this week? Because CabbageCon is coming up, and we got stuff to prepare. And since we're gonna have to do 2 episodes one of these weeks anyways, we decided on this week. So only 2 episodes this week. And we also won't be doing this next week because, again, CabbageCon will be happening then. But yeah, and as always, we appreciate your support. So yes, if you want to donate on Ko-Fi or Patreon, you'll get exclusive content like the panel content that Lucia just mentioned. And also you can donate via Super Chat to ask us dumb questions or have us say things in character. We have the Fire Siblings, of course. If you donate something to Zuko, you must donate a cent more for Azula. Oh, and yeah, sorry, what I was going to say earlier. I'm also the voice of Prime Minister Lee in Zuko Plays Dishonored. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, stick around at the end of the stream. Maybe we can poke Cade and get him to tell all of you guys what he's doing for the next video game stream if you missed it.
Maybe. Though, now that I have the floor for a second, now's probably a good time to mention, Curtis, I didn't want to interrupt you. You're on a roll, but apparently you're a little quiet to stream.
I am a little quiet. Then now I'm not.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Dude, someone out here posting Fire Nation propaganda, and I just want to be like, firebending can't melt steel beams. Like,
but the Aeronauts didn't have steel beams.
That's a 9/11 joke.
I know. I know it is.
Oh no. Oh.
But they're saying, if you think about it, there's no way the Aeronomad genocide was committed by the Fire Nation. Aang himself said that air temples can only be reached by Sky Bison, and the Fire Nation didn't have any. If only they had flying creatures of some kind, huh?
I know, right?
Even if it was committed by them, I think completed genocide is a bit exaggerated and the numbers are way Jesus. There really would be genocide deniers, too.
that is kind of a plot hole because Aang knew in one of the comics it's shown that Aang knows that dragons exist.
Yeah.
Well,
so does that mean he think the dragons couldn't reach the temples?
I think
Or
it's
did he just
more.
forget about the dragons?
I think it's more sort of like he never envisioned anyone using dragons as weapons.
Yeah, and
like it didn't even occur to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine the
but
dragons.
you could still envision them using them to go to the temple.
He's still 12.
I don't think I think the dragons are sentient and would not consent to being used as tools of war like that. Like if the Fire Nation brought the dragons to commit the genocide, the dragons would be like, "What the fuck? We're not doing this."
I think James is right, and I think that's probably part of the reason why they started killing them. If I had to guess how they actually got up there, no jokes aside, it was during the comet, so they probably just rocket boosted up because they can practically fly for short periods of time. And with Sozin's comet, Ozai was like zipping around like he was Superman.
And he only needed like 1 foot to do it.
So like I'm guessing that during Sozin's comet, it boosted everyone enough that they could all just shoot themselves up there.
That's probably the real
intended reason. Although it's really funny for me to imagine Sozin yelling at his dragon, like, "Get up there, we gotta kill people." And the dragon's like, "No."
I'm just imagining Sozin's dragon having to make multiple passes to keep dropping off soldiers as genocide is happening.
And the dragon's like, "I'm done. I'm not doing any more." And he's like, "Come on, no.
Come on, I'll give you a treat, all right?
I'll give you a Scooby snack."
Yeah,
where
we dropping, boys? Alrighty then.
Well,
final thing before we get going. Just had a quick comment from Joshua who says, "I love all you guys so much for all the episodes. You help me get through work on long days. I've listened to every single one like 3 times almost. Lol. Thank you, Joshua. We do what we can."
I feel you. I've listened to them so many times. I feel you on a spiritual level.
Alrighty then. So, as per usual, we are not going to be streaming the episodes here because we like having our channel and being able to release episodes, and we do not want the copyright gods to strike us down. So, we will have a timer on screen that will be showing you where we currently are in the current episode. We will be muted, but we will be sharing our reactions in the YouTube chat. Once the episode is done, we will resume, and we will discuss our thoughts and feelings and opinions and musings. Alright. I believe that is all.
Right.
We shall see you all on the other side. Oh boy, that is a big one. I forgot how hard it hit.
That certainly was the deserter.
I actually love this episode, and it makes me sad that we never got to see Korra master 3 out of the 4 elements, because how much fun would it be to watch someone as hot-headed and impatient as Korra have to learn the discipline to like control fire without it getting crazy like that? Like that would have been so fun.
I see what you mean, but at the same time, you run into the problem of you're just telling the same story again.
But I don't think it would be the same because Korra's a different person, you know? Like,
I mean, you
her
don't have to,
way.
You don't have to dedicate a full episode to it either. Well, because I know, like, they sort of, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but they sort of went through it like a 5-minute montage where she went through all the elements, right?
She just kind of always was good at all of them except air, and then we don't get to see her training. I just feel like
we get to see like the end of her her final exam for firebending.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more. We don't need a full episode, but just a little bit more.
For however critical I am about a lot of the writing choices in Korra, I actually really love Korra herself a lot as a character. I think she has so much potential.
She's really good.
Yeah, I would have really loved to see
Curtis,
more of like
Curtis, you
her
never
struggle.
switch the standby screen off.
Sorry, hang on. There we go.
Yeah, it would have been really interesting to see Korra like immediately get the putting her foot down of earthbending right, but still needing to learn the patience part of it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like she can't wait.
Or she's just like naturally really good at making giant fireballs, like Zhao did there. But like having to master the discipline and the control when she's such a charge-in, hot-headed person. I feel like that could have been incorporated into her adventure and told its own unique. Because you know, Aang has different shortcomings from Korra, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Korra is a lot less afraid than Aang to burn shit because she's like, nah, dude, I ain't no pacifist. But unlike Aang,
it's her first time in an urban environment. Like she could have, just never really needed that side of firebending, and then find herself like, oh no, control is a lot more important here.
So I hope if we ever do get a Korra movie, I actually hope it's a prequel. I hope we get to see her like learning the elements. Like, I don't know. I really wish Korra got more exploration, like watching her learn the elements and grow as she goes. If it's one complaint I have of Korra is that it's too much about the villain's different weird political interpretations and not about like more about Korra's growth herself.
And the legend of Korra being about Korra.
And
they do much better with it later, like around book 3. It's just, that's like halfway into your show. I would have wanted more, but that's just me. I really love Korra.
I will say
I thought Korra was pretty well developed. It's just like it doesn't have as strong as a side cast otherwise, but that's details.
Yeah. I will say to kind of jump off where Lucia is, and I guess this means we're starting the bar going.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys just start with the opinions at the bottom there.
I will say it is a shame that this is really the only episode where Aang like truly learns anything about the discipline of fire, because the way this show goes about it is while there's a lot of dedication to waterbending and like a lot of dedication to earthbending in book 2.
Oh, well, I know the reason for why.
Well, yeah, I'm also very aware of the reason why, but not getting to that here, so that's a whole other thing. It is quite a shame that Zhong's the only like real exploration of it that Aang gets before Zuko kind of just speedruns Aang through it somehow. Because the most we get of firebending outside of Aang is mostly from Iroh's perspective to Zuko, and a little bit from the Sun Warriors, but again, that's like way in the future. But it's a shame that we never really got to see a dedicated like exploration of how the fire discipline is like, how it's being taught now versus how it was originally taught before Sozin like fucking came around and changed how everything worked.
So originally, I'm gonna spill some tea here. They wanted Zuko to join the gang sooner. That's why all of his development is like rushed into field trips the last minute. This is an unfortunate consequence of the mandated rewrites. I've talked a little bit about this before. Book 3 had a very troubled production for a number of reasons. Maybe someday I'll go into the whole spiel about it. But for now, they did originally want that. But because they were forced to add in all the other stuff, including Combustion Man because of Mattel, Zuko had to join way later, so we don't actually get to have Zuko training Aang and teaching him firebending fleshed out, which is a shame. I think that would have been really cool to see. I still think book 3 is a spectacular season, all things considered. But yeah, I for the people who criticize like UK that you would have liked to see more of Aang actually learning firebending, because it is really cool here. It is really cool what we're introduced to. Fire is unique in that it is deadly. It is so like any element can be deadly, but fire is just so uniquely deadly in that it has no defense. It's all offense. You are just trying to crisp someone alive. And I think because it's like a cartoon, it's easy to sometimes forget. Like, Zuko's firing kill shots a lot of the time. He's not messing around. If that fire actually hits you, you're going to die. Fire requiring that extra level of like presence of mind and discipline to prevent death and destruction and scarring is such an interesting perspective when most of the Fire Nation has been under Sozin's, might makes right idea. And here comes Zhang Zhang saying, nah, that's some bullshit, dude. You've been lied to. The truth of it is it's about self-control, to the point that he's become self-hating. He's developed this kind of like alienation from his own culture because he sees the destruction that fire rots, and he's envious and admirable of or admires Katara's healing abilities because of that, because that can give nurturing, that can give life. And it shows how it's so easy to see fire as nothing but negative and evil if you only see it from Sozin's side. And it's so clever that they put it here through this veteran that is so like just exhausted and traumatized and disillusioned. Yeah.
Very much.
Only to later in season 3 introduce the Sun Warriors and shows that that's not true. Fire is also life in of itself. It's just that they've forgotten. I love that. That was such a great reveal for the audience, just as it was for the characters. It really makes you reconsider.
Even the only real lesson that Zhang Zhang gets to teach Aang is like try and keep the leaf from burning as long as possible. I find that to be a really fascinating way to try and teach firebending. Like, hey, before you start blasted fire everywhere, try to keep one tiny thing from burning.
Yeah. And that this is harder than actually making a giant fireball, is having the self-control to keep a leaf from going off.
Creates a respect when Zhang Zhang later proves that he has such a high level of self-control that he could just create a giant wall of flame over a river that the boats aren't even touched by it. It just stops them in their tracks because nobody's going to willingly sail through that.
Well, plus he had to stunt on Zhao. He had to stunt on Zhao.
Can't do it. Quick thing, because someone had mentioned in chat that he's saying that the reason Zhao goes for the moon is because Aang moons him here.
He's like, that's it. Dude, I saw a really funny question. I saw a really funny question recently where someone was like, why did Zhao only kill the moon spirit and not the ocean spirit? And a lot of people had like more serious answers, but my favorite one was, homie, he didn't want to have to walk home. The Fire Nation's an island, dude. And it was like the idea of Zhao killing the ocean and being like, crap. He has to walk all the way back to the Fire Nation.
I'm imagining immediately after killing the ocean spirit, he gets a messenger hawk letting him know that his entire branch of the military, of which he is an admiral, is now
kaput.
There's no decommissioned.
Ozai's scrapping it. He wants only air power now. Yeah. Anyway, and freaking Ira's like, I told you we need the ocean too, Zhao.
How are trade routes gonna be a thing anymore? Anyway,
I did actually love that. Like
Zoth comment.
That is.
Zoth said that fire has defensive moves as well. He's like, yes, you are technically correct, but fire defense only applies to other firebenders.
I suppose you can make like a fire shield, but for the most part, fire isn't really much a defensive element. Like with water, it's all about changing the flow, so you take your opponent's energy and use it against them. But also, you can make an ice shield. With earth, obviously, all the reasons it can be a solid cover, and air is defensive in the way it dodges, it moves, and it avoids. But fire doesn't really have like a defensive
application. The fire shield does is prevent you from getting burned. So in a way, fire's only defense is being able to control the fire.
Yeah. I guess if you're strong enough.
And even then, in this episode, with Zhang Zhang's huge firewall, we see Zhao bending some of the fire out of the way so he can walk through it. So even though it's not a foolproof defense.
Yeah, although counterpoint, well, because I think it's interesting because actually, I'll save my thing for later. So,
but yeah, for the point is made. fire's not defensive, and the only real defense people it has is against other firebenders. Like, even later when Zuko tries to shield himself from Combustion Man's blast, all Zuko really did was prevent the lethality. He still got fucking blown back hard by it.
Cade, be careful. This is a just for kids stream.
Not anymore.
This stream is for children. Watch your language.
Yeah. Anyway, children, get the fuck out.
Next. You're canceled, Cade. Next.
Here's some blood.
They're canceling me on Twitter.com.
Here's a picture of Ozai. Now get out.
Get out.
All right. Real quick before. Oh wait. Did you? If that's is that?
That should be the end of my giant fire thing.
Yeah.
Let's go to Iris.
Okay. Or no. Well, we can't forget James. Although before we do James, just real quick question.
James. Wow, Cade, you took that personally against James.
Real quick though, someone objectively AJ asked, what would the moon spirit rampage look like if the water spirit had died instead?
Oh, and then the moon spirit would have fused with Aang, and he would have become a giant magical girl. He was just full Sailor Moon.
I was actually gonna say, to make it up to James, it would just become Majora's Mask.
Yeah. Oh gosh, can you imagine the evil moon's just like coming towards us?
Either Majora's Mask or that one unfortunate event from Star Wars Legends that kills Chewbacca.
It's all of them. Every bad moon thing that's ever happened in fiction, all of them at the same time.
All of the waterbenders become werewolves.
No. They all become werewolves named Moon.
Every bad thing the moon is associated with in any piece of media, it all happens. All of it at the same time.
That's great. Right. Here now. All basic lands are mountains now.
Yep, there you go. Done.
I mean non-basic. I'm sorry.
Done.
Okay. Alrighty then, James.
I'm a fake MTG fan.
You're
freaking Magic the Gathering. I got you, Iris. I got you.
Okay.
Alright, so James.
Thank you.
Opinionate.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that fire festival with the masks. I just completely forgot that it existed. If I remember that, I probably would have tried to draw from that during the fire festival scene in our episode 4.
No, I wouldn't have wanted that. And the reason why is because they specified that the colonies do it different than the way they do it in the Fire Nation.
Is this in the Fire Nation?
No, it is a colony, but it's not the colonies. I know that's confusing.
All right,
it's a village they are. It's a village the Fire Nation is occupying rather than a full-on colony from 100 years ago, if that makes sense.
So it would still be primary firebenders are running it.
So don't worry, James. You accidentally gave me exactly what I wanted anyway.
It's Gibraltar, not Barbados.
Yeah. I wanted it to be, very, very apt, Adam. I wanted it to be different. So it's the difference between a colonized area versus a place that's been a colony for over 100 years and has developed its new culture, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. All right.
Huh. So you're good. You accidentally gave me exactly what I wanted, especially because Konku goes out of his way, or Iroh, I think, goes out of his way to be like, it's different. It's not like what you're used to. And I wanted that by the extension to be what the audience got, was something different and not what they were used to. So I like your original sound.
To like drop a super chat, have you say you accidentally gave me exactly what I wanted in Azula's voice.
You accidentally did exactly what I wanted. Don't flatter yourself. Let me flatter you instead.
Just wholesome Azula sounds actually really threatening.
Oh, you haven't heard? She's a good person now.
I'm a good person now. If you go to the video game streams.
And if you want Azula a good person all over you, drop a super chat.
That sounds
no.
Good person.
Please don't.
Anything else, James? Anything else?
That was the only thing I wanted to speak on, because it's just something I always forget, even just thinking about all the things that happen.
I just always remember that puppet show. That's the only reason I remember it. The Ozai puppet cracks me up every single time. Yeah, every single time I see that.
It's so good.
I always think that it's the beginning of Volcerdom. Like, who is the monster and who is the man?
I had canon that since the puppet is also Scott Menville, like that fire performers, I'm just gonna pretend they're the same person.
So here's a little bit of trivia for book 4 fans. If you watch Zuko's Lost Days, one of the guards that's talking about why would anyone do this to their own son is voiced by Jacob Dylan, who voices Ozai. He just does his regular voice instead of a Mark Hamill Ozai voice. But we always laugh about this because we're like, geez, Ozai, like, why are you talking smack about your own decision? And we're like, dude, do you think Ozai just dressed up in like commoner's clothes and went over there? Like he wanted to talk smack about Zuko, but he couldn't like do it without looking petty. So he dressed up so he could be like, hey, so how about that Fire Lord banishing his worthless son, huh? Like that was mean, that was lit, right?
I don't know, how could the Fire Lord do such a thing? Seems kind of cruel.
You know, Ozai just glares, adds them to his shit list.
It's like the Kylo Ren like construction man SNL.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
I was thinking of that.
He also voices like does he because doesn't he also voice like later on when Zuko goes to the tavern, he's like, we aren't heartless, son. He does that voice.
Yeah. That who was that? We Aren't Heartless Son was Sam Gabriel who voices Hakoda actually.
Oh, was it? I thought that was Jacob.
Oh, is it? I thought that was, there's multiple like fisherman guy. I'd have to see the scene because I know the guy who's like yesterday maybe that kicks him out.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say that's separate than who I'm talking about. I just think it's so funny because he voices Ozai and he goes, "We aren't heartless, son." Well, maybe I am.
See, that's Ozai again. Ozai dressed him
son. That's why I call him son.
He slipped up. He dressed up so that he could be like, "Hey, we're not heartless, son." Like just gaslighting him.
No, I just want to believe that Ozai spent the entire time Zuko didn't have a ship just fucking stalking him just to watch him in glee.
God, that's really funny. Ozai's just bored, man.
Iris, what do you think? Do you think that was what Ozai was doing all this time?
Well, I think that Ozai did nothing wrong and is actually a precious little meow meow.
True.
What
that
a
voice
trifling.
Oh my god. That's so great, Iris.
Iris has hella range. It's true. She's got hella range.
Oh.
Do you have any more to say, Iris?
I was about to say, you haven't spoken.
Sorry, I got a compliment, and like my higher brain function.
I was about to say, Iris thought had stopped working for a second.
Well, reactivate it.
Control Alt Delete, Iris. Come on.
I think this is once again a very strong showing for the cool old people count on ATLA. It's doing very well on that front, as we've already like sort of established. I think Jiang Jiang is a very interesting character. I think it's like especially because it's kind of questionable whether he's even a good teacher. I kind of got those vibes of him, like he really excelled in an academic field, and then it was just sort of assumed that he must also be good at teaching it. But like neither of the people he tried to teach it really took with. So I don't think that was the intention with him. I do think it's kind of a fun read. He's yeah, I like the introduction. I think they are weirdly mean to like the sympathizer from the village, who just comes back at the end and everyone is left and he's just kind of there. It's like, oh. But also, yeah, I'm kind of doing things piecemeal because we've already covered a lot of it. Like it's like a very interesting look into firebending. It's obviously the the introduction of that to the series from more of an inside perspective, and especially giving us access to it through Jiang Jiang, who is sort of like a self-hating ex-colonizer, is it's both a really good like way to get someone in there who would teach Ang or Ang, and also just makes him kind of an interesting one-off of a character, because it once again shows you more about the Fire Nation and how it's more diverse than you might think from just the premise of the show. Now that's always good. I want to try Fire Flakes.
Oh yeah, give me that spice.
I really like spicy, like fried rice treats.
I've made them before based on. I made them before based on how they were on the Avatar cookbook. If I ever find my Avatar cookbook and wherever it went, I will make them for you sometime.
Oh heck yeah! They looked delicious, and like Sokka burning his mouth on them was like, oh that looks like I'm not sure if I could handle that, but I'd want to try for sure.
Yeah.
So as a
absolutely
Fire
could not.
Nation food expert, let me tell you, Fire Flakes are good, but Sizzle Crisps are where it's actually at. Like that's the real good shit. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
I'll have
lovely.
to
Sizzle
take
crisps.
your guys' word for it. I will hard pass on this.
Yeah, I for one cannot at all handle spicy foods, so hard pass for me.
I'm allergic to chili peppers. Like they could actually kill me, and I'll still do it. So you guys are weak. You guys are weak. Eat it. Come on. I've done it, even though they could literally kill me. Come on.
I wholly admit my weakness. I'm not built for spicy
James is
food.
so wise and zen. James is like, you cannot shame me for my weakness when I have embraced it.
Oh my god.
I may be weak, but I am happy.
Yeah. He's like, fine, then suffer in your strength. Like just totally zen.
Oh, so it's multi-power saying that Fire Flakes are just spicy hot Doritos? Hey, maybe.
Those aren't hot enough. Are you
Yes,
kidding?
that sounds
So
good,
the Fire Nation's food, contrary to the popular misconception that their food is based on Japan, it is not. Fire Nation food is way more based on Thai food from what we've seen in the show, just like their clothes are. In which case,
would
that
make
shit's
sense,
gonna be
but, like,
hot, hot. It's not gonna be like you go to your local pad Thai place. Do this if you want to know how hot it is. Go to the most hole-in-the-wall, authentic Thai place that you can find near you. Go there. Go to the place that all the Thai people go to, so you know it's good. And when you order something and they ask you how spicy you want it, order the like spiciest they'll let you order it, and then make sure you specify. No, not the white people version. I want the Thai version. I guarantee you, what they make you will be inedible to you, and yet you'll see small Thai children eating this like it was water.
Yeah.
I have had this
It's the
experience.
same with Indian food up here in
Yes.
Jersey. Yeah.
Same thing. Well, those two cuisines have influenced themselves, hence why curry is so popular in both.
Right.
I think it would also be like like as much as a lot of the Fire Nation's general cultural coding is based on sort of wartime and slightly pre-wartime Japan with its maritime focus and its propensity towards colonization. It's I think a lot of what is modern Japanese cuisine was sort of rose from the ashes of all that and was like reinvented with a lot of I believe influence from the temporary or from the American side.
Oh, yeah.
So what we like modern Japanese cuisine is actually really new and a lot got sort of lost in the change. So it would be really difficult to give them food that is both Japanese coded and sort of seems appropriate to the rough era that ATLA takes place in. Right?
I think the reason they went for more Thai food is that they decided to make the Fire Nation tropical. And while Japan is an island nation, it's not tropical. And so I think it was that choice to make it a tropical region so it could be hot and all that. So that's why their politics are very much Imperial Japan, but like their food and clothes are very much more Thai inspired. At least that's my best guess about why.
Yeah. I watched a video pretty recently that very little about the Fire Nation is Japanese based.
Except it's politics.
Except it's politics, sure.
And
But,
kind of
like,
its government. The history that we find out in Smoke and Shadow with the warlords and the unification is clearly based on Japan. But it's like
shogunate.
yeah, and all that. But as far as like Adam is saying, as far as like the food culture and
it's
clothes,
it's mostly Chinese, Mongolian, and I guess in this case Thai.
a lot of Thai.
Yeah,
In fact, those armbands. You guys want to hear something sad?
Oh yeah,
Korea.
You
good
know,
story.
the Agni Kai armbands. Do you know what those are based on?
What?
They're based on Muay Thai armbands. And the reason they're significant is that traditionally they're made from the hem of your mother's skirt. She rips off a piece of her skirt to make it because they're supposed to imbue you with her protection before you go into battle. So the fact that Zuko was wearing them and Ozai burned his face is the subtext is Ursa's failure to protect him. And the fact that Azula never wears them, despite the fact that she gets challenged to an Agni Kai at least twice,
and she
I
never
think that's
wears
very
them.
pessimistic, very face half burned thinking. I think
Well, I think I'm not necessarily. I'm not
face is
blaming.
still there.
I'm not blaming Ursa for it, but just the
No,
fact that
I just wanted to say the phrase face half burned.
face half burned.
That
It's
is quite
face
the
half
phrase.
unburned. Be positive. So yeah,
Yeah.
that there's a little bit of heartbreaking subtext now that you know what those armbands represent, and you can look it up and see that I ain't lying to you. Look it up.
That's tragic. Dorn,
that
say
is
something
wonderful.
happy.
Yeah, Dorn, make us laugh. Dorn's like, why?
Dorn, amuse us with your antics.
Oh.
Time's up.
Oh no! Shit! There once was a ship that took to sea the name of the. Okay, now I won't start there.
He got me. I'm into it. There one was a ship that took to sea. Its name
I just
was.
thought of One
I don't know
Piece,
what
like,
it is.
immediately.
It's got me. Like the fact that I don't know the name of the ship. I'm hooked.
It's
I want,
cruise ship,
I want
yeah.
season
There
2.
once was a prince of the fire who was bad and drew his dad's ire.
No, you're thinking of a different song saying there once was a prince from the land of fire.
Yeah, don't you guys know the Wellerman song by Nathan Evans? There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the
Anchor
Billy
was
O.T. The
burned,
wind
his
blew
face
up
was
her
half
bow.
burned.
Oh, blow, my
Now-
bully boys blow.
I was gonna say
No,
his
honor
sister
is
was
only
shocking.
desire.
His sister was shocking while he was stalking, and he answered, "I'm always a liar." He's always a
Also
liar.
good.
Because you were saying there
Also
once was a
good.
prince of the fire. Because Iris started. There once was a prince of the fire who aroused the Fire Lord's ire. And so I wanted to finish it for you, Iris. It's his sister was shocking with all of her stalking. He answered, "She's always a liar." There you go.
I had for mine I had the anger was earned, his face was half burned, now honors his only desire.
Hey, that was good too.
Hey, Max Butler says we need more episodes with the gang.
Like in book 4
that's
or
like every
in,
episode.
or in this. Maybe
Yeah,
he's talking about book 4.
I think book 4. If that's the case, oh boy.
Well, you're getting the search in like 3
And we
months.
added Toph into it, so Toph is now in the
So
search.
everyone's here, not just Gang Sans Toph. Now it's
Except Suki.
oh.
I
yeah.
know they always
Ah,
leave us.
shit.
That's okay. We've written some original stuff for Suki because they don't give her enough in the comics.
All right,
Mm.
Dorn.
Finish our
Lovely,
commentary.
lovely
on the episode.
sea shanties aside.
I do actually need to go after that. So I'm
Oh.
going to wish you all the best of luck discussing this one and a lot of fun with the next one. And I'll see you next time for this.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
this
finish. Say
finale.
goodbye, Iris.
All right.
Iris.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah. All right.
You guys know what song I'm talking about, right? The
I do, at
Soon
least.
may the Wellerman come
Yeah.
to
Oh
bring
yeah,
back
no,
the-
I knew
I
exactly.
was,
Bring
I
the
was
sugar
there
and
during
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sea
Yeah.
shanty trend.
I was
Anyway.
there when it was the guy punching window trend.
I'm glad that it became trendy because back in the day, I like got to perform with some of those like Ren Fair bands and stuff, and I was super into sea shanties,
Aw,
but they were
I wanna
not
go
cool
back to
at
the
the
Ren
time.
Fair.
They were not cool at the time, so people did not jive with me. And then like a few years later, sea shanties were like the meme, and I was so mad. I was like, "Damn it!
Oh man.
I only ever really was into them when I was
Why didn't
playing
you guys
Black
like them
Flag.
when I was doing them?" But yes, book 4's next episode is going to be the beginning of the search. We have added some additional scenes as well as adding Toffin, so don't you worry. You're going to be getting more of the gang. I don't think we were on Dorn, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Go
just
ahead, give
not-
your opinion. Sorry, we
Yeah.
derailed.
No, it's okay.
It always happens.
Yeah, for sure. Happens all the time. I don't have much to say here. So, I mean, you guys all like covered all like the big deep stuff about firebending, but for me, it's already like probably the 4th time me watching this show, but it's always so hard for me to watch. So sorry, it's back to sad stuff, but but there will be a positive note later. It's always so hard for me to see Aang burning Katara. Like that hard lesson.
Yeah.
of-
It's so I
It's
think it-
visceral.
Yeah.
it literally makes me wince every time I see it because like it's the consequence of like not listening to Jong about like the discipline, like don't pivot, don't jump into this without like mastering yourself and the discipline. It's very
You see how
relatable
that
to
trauma
life.
affects him later.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because he then says like, no, never more with the fire, even though later he does do fire, but it does affect him a lot. And
Well, when he sees Guru Pratik, he says he's never going to firebend again. And then in the episode, right before he meets Zuko, he seems really hesitant that he's going to learn fire.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
And Zuko burning Toph reminded him of that incident.
Right.
So it was like, because like John said, like, if you don't master fire, you could very well hurt yourself and those you care about. So he did, like, there was like the warning there. So yeah, it always makes me like wince every time I see it. But it was also a neat transition for sure into learning. Here's where the positive note is, into learning Katara's like healing abilities with the water.
Yeah.
I really love that. And because then I feel like that's capped off so beautifully later when Aang got himself a little bit burned in his scuffle with Zhao, and Katara heals him. So it's kind of like almost a symbolic way of like, the thing happened, but they were able to address it and they reconcile at the end. You know, it's healed.
And it's sad. It's because you're saying like it was sad that she got burned, but it led to her discovering a new ability, which then helped later.
Yeah, and in a way, then they reknit that because like Sokka was really mad at Aang as well, and Katara was had to have ran off crying. You know, it's like it was like a big sort of like, you know, you could say like challenge and temporary rift almost in the gang because of that incident. Yeah. Oh, that too. Like, especially like for like a kid showman, like that's like, oof. Like you can literally see the burn marks of Katara on her hand, and like, I haven't gotten burned that serious myself, but like, you know, probably for people who have, like, seeing that must be like, eesh, you know. But especially because like how the skin is left there. But anyway, I don't want to go into that. Sorry, but sorry.
Those were very likely second-degree burns.
Yeah, but and then the other thing I really liked about this episode, which always gets me, is the fact that so of course the reveal that Zhao was Zhangzhen's student, and like he was impatient. So then Aang actually, it's so clever of Aang, like he has this like very clever moment where instead of like going at it head on, which is what he's been having to do, like he can't avoid all the time with airbending, he decides to use Zhao's like short temper against him because he remembered what Zhangzhen said about a lack of discipline can kind of literally lead you as a firebender to go to wreck stuff. So then he tricks him into freaking burning his whole fleet, and I always like that moment. Like there are more than one ways to win a fight, and in this case it was just a real moment of like cleverness on Aang's part. And I also just love how he absolutely trash talks Zhao the whole time.
They'll make anyone an admiral.
Yeah, anyone admiral. The best one was like, I thought you were better than Zuko.
Yeah, that one always gets
that
me.
One was really get me.
You know that one fucking got to Zhao because Zhao got his ass handed to him.
I bet Zhao like never forgot that one. He went home, he complained about that to everyone he knows. Like he never let that one go.
No, and
let me issue a quick correction because I misspoke. Katara's burns are just first degree. Oh. Zuko's is definitely a permanent third degree though.
Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, like there's that, and then like the whole thing about, it's a shame we don't see more about, you know, the whole principles behind firebending, because it is very good. And also I agree with Iris, like shout out to the poor guy who was like, who helped Aang and friends like get out of their pickle. Like they just left. It's like, yeah, you know what that reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Sid from Ice Age in the first film. During the migration, when he wakes up and he's like, "Hey, rise and shine," and he probably like, "Marshall, Uncle Fungus, where is everybody?" You know, it reminds me of that. They left without me. They do this every year. Why doesn't anybody love me?
That guy is definitely the Sid of Zhang Zhang's crew. I completely agree that I've never thought about it, but that's a very apt comparison.
It just like came to me, but I also love the Ice Age.
That was great. See, Dorn made us laugh after all. We could count on Dorn.
All right, now that Dorn has said his piece, it is time to move on to the obvious next person. Curtis.
I was gonna say, wait, I can't go next. I have more sad things. Let's go with Adam. Because Adam has our drink for the night. So Adam, you go first. I'm actually gonna cover the drink
after we're done with discussion because it has more to do with the next episode than this one.
Oh, okay then I'll just go anyways then. Alrighty then. So okay then I'm gonna bring the mood back down. So again, someone in chat, yes, this is one of the few times we see a burn actually happen on screen in the cartoon. So yeah, but I think here's the thing. Even despite I believe technically we see more burns in the live action, but I still think that this hits a lot harder, and the reason is that, like, it's one thing to show someone, like, being burned alive. It's another to just hammer home the point, hey, this hurts. This person is in pain. And, like, all the things, like, all the emotional stuff attached to it. It's not just the physical, it's the emotional stuff. So, like, they lingered on the emotion of this for a good minute and a half. Like, you could see all the negative emotions. You could see Katara in pain. You could see Aang horrified that he made the mistake. And you could see Sokka just absolutely losing it, rightfully so, about what just happened. And you, again, saw John do it. All of this negative they let this negative emotion breathe to hammer home that this was a very serious moment. Which, gosh, it's so well done, too. Like, all of the serious emotion. And I think, honestly, it's one of the most serious moments in the entire show, if I remember correctly.
I'd agree. Curtis, that you're bringing it up. I love that when they say this is your fault to Zhang, he doesn't argue or hesitate. He immediately says, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, damn, dude, what a gut punch.
Yeah.
I also got to give it to Sokka. As angry at Aang as he is, he identifies, dude, you let the kid alone with fire. What the fuck?
Yeah, and so again, it's just so well done. I think I remember this episode being good, but I didn't remember it being this good. And unfortunately, this also has now made me much more angry that nothing of this episode made it into the live action version, because not only did we miss Aang's quick brushing with fire and the seriousness, and also because it's just like, this was Aang being a kid. He's a kid. Of course he wants to just learn how to shoot fire out of his hands. You know, who wouldn't? Sort of thing. So this is one of the times where him being young very much played into, you know, things that made sense. And this is where Katara learns healing, which, as I mentioned in, you know, the ATLA watch, when Katara has her whole thing in the northern, you know, thing where she, in ATLA, because she didn't learn healing, she just sees healing and just kind of rejects it. Where in this one, she learns it in a very good way, and she already knows it by the time the healing is trying to be pushed upon her when she gets to the North Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like this Katara inherently thinks healing is a useless skill. She just didn't want to be so stifled as a warrior. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, because she already knew it and could have arguably been better than everyone else at that point. But finally though, we talk about, you know, Jean. I feel like I also have to push back against him as well. We sort of talked about how he's disillusioned, but like, it's worth noting. We'll see it especially when we get to the North Pole. It's just because Zhang is talking smack about fire because he's seen all the destructive bits, and in my mind I'm just thinking, okay, Zhang, but let me tell you, if I have to go venturing somewhere north, I ain't bringing a waterbender with me. I mean, I might, because but let's say if I had the choice between bringing 2 waterbenders and a waterbender and a firebender, I do both, because, you know, the firebender is going to be the one that brings me warmth, the one who's going to protect us from the cold. Too much of anything is a bad thing. Yeah, the water's all nice when it's healing and stuff, but we toss you into the ocean and you can't swim. Suddenly doesn't seem that great anymore. So
not me. I'd bring the backbender, so he'd make friends with the moon for me. That's what I'd do.
I was about to say, there's really only
smarter, not harder.
There's really only one bender I would hesitate to bring with me to the north, and that would just be an earthbender.
Well, especially poor Toph, since she can't see there.
Yeah, but even an earthbender can see. It's mostly ice and snow. There's not a lot of earth for them to really work with.
Oh yeah, Jean let a 12-year-old play with a flamethrower. It was a terrible teacher. But yeah, like pain is. We see. I hate saying this, but yeah, like this is a moment that Aang remembers, and like sometimes you just have to learn the hard way. It's better if you can just listen, but sometimes you need a moment to snap you into reality like that.
To be fair to Zhang Zoth, because he did leave Aang alone with fire. The only reason he left him alone was because his men had spotted Zhao coming in advance.
Yeah. Also, in Zhang's defense, he didn't want to teach him, but Roku showed up.
Into it.
Yeah.
Roku burned the tree.
So this is all Roku's fault.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the
It all
problem
goes
is
back
yeah,
to
you
Roku.
could kind of say the entirety of Atlas kind of Roku's fault.
Yeah, Roku triple dog dared Zhang, and you don't just decline a triple dog dare from the Avatar, you know?
yeah, no, man. If you have your honor, you gotta accept that.
Honor.
Yeah. All right. It's
Anyway.
those are my. Yeah. Gosh, this is a really. I think this is probably also probably one of my favorites from the entirety of book 1 and potentially the show.
We're really taking advantage of the fact there's only 2 episodes today.
Let's go.
Yes,
let's
that's
go.
it, yes, yeah,
Let
okay, yeah.
Adam,
So,
let
yeah,
Adam
Adam,
speak. Let
speak.
Adam speak. As if I'm not the biggest
So,
problem here.
well, I'm gonna talk about this episode first because the drink is gonna be my intro into. Is it gonna be our interlude into the next episode?
All right, interlude us.
Random thoughts. First thing that stuck out to me, Shay is just a straight up homage to Dennis Hopper's character from Apocalypse Now, and I always love when they have that kind of character.
I'm so glad you're here, Adam.
But no, am I like, has anyone here seen Apocalypse Now?
Yes, and that's why I never even put that together.
I
But
have
thank
not.
you.
I have not.
He's not crazy, man. He's
Yeah.
a genius.
Yeah, no, now that you said it, I'm like, damn, I can't believe that never occurred to me before. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar that was a thing, but now you describe it. Okay, yeah.
Because y'all too young. Get older.
We're trying here. The world isn't making it easy.
Yeah. So I like that. We get another Scott Melville appearance. I legitimately forgot he appears this many times in the series, and it's always in the ones that I skipped as a kid.
I think it's usually book 1. I think after book 1, he doesn't show up nearly as often.
He's in book 2.
Is he in book 2? All right, I believe
And in
that.
book 3.
Yeah, I know. He's one of the Amber Island players.
Yeah. He's in book 2 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I only really
He's
remember
Amber
him in his
Island
book 1
Sokka,
appearances, but
Yeah.
if I'm correct.
I'm
right,
starving.
he is Ember Island Sokka. Anyway, continue, Adam.
Yes. So yeah, and this is actually on the same note. Him bringing Katara up on stage, doing the dragon bit. That is a bit of foreshadowing because it looks like Katara's about to be burned, but then Aang stops her from getting burned by airbending it away, and then it all comes full circle when the time she actually gets burned, it's Aang the one causing it. So not the most complex use of foreshadowing, but good foreshadowing nonetheless. Sokka says, "You burned my sister twice." That always got me off guard when watching this.
In case Aang didn't hear him the first time.
You burned my sister. What?
Yeah, that part.
You burned my sister. What?
Maybe Aang had
You
kind of
burned
like
what?
He had kind of like a zoned out look, so Sokka didn't think he heard him, so he said it again.
Zoned out cat meme.
Or a blazed out look, I guess.
Yeah. I like the scene where Momo hides in the bush, and Appa thinks he can hide in the bush too,
Yes.
but he can't. That's very cute.
I really enjoy how much Appa and Momo are characters in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No adaptation has been able to capture the majesty of Appa and Momo as well as the original yet.
Appa's just a big dog who thinks he's little.
I love him so much. Appa's
so great.
perfect. Appa's perfect.
Yes.
Only member of the gang that never did anything wrong ever, Appa. Not even Momo, because apparently Momo says unkind things.
And then he does in the Aang's dream.
And then he does in Aang's dream, just like Sokka warned us about. So apparently Momo's a jerk, but not Appa. Appa's perfect.
And apparently Sokka's dreams are prophetic into other people's dreams, I guess.
Yep. Sokka can actually vision bend, and we didn't know it.
Yeah. What else? The beginning of the episode was surprisingly funny, considering how the rest of the episode went.
Contrast.
Yeah. I did find it a little weird that when they're flying away on Appa, the final note they land on is Katara can heal now. and no, they don't follow up on Aang's lesson. And we do, and to be fair, we get it that like they show how repentant he is and how he feels so bad he doesn't want to do it anymore. But then he outwits Zhao, and he's got a huge ass smile on his face. It looks like it was a pretty big mood swing there.
To be fair, he did outwit Zhao by using his recklessness against him. So I guess in a way,
that's good.
Aang did learn a lesson.
He learned from his own mistake.
Yeah, he showed us he learned a lesson.
Yeah. You know what? Completely fair. I take it back.
Sorry, not everyone has watched this show 50 million times.
Well,
like,
see, no, because
I
this
have
is
a
talking
problem.
about. It's like you see,
This is actually an intervention. That's the plot twist of these streams. Lucia, you need to
No.
stop watching.
No, Natla was the intervention because it was punishing you for watching
God.
Avatar.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
no.
the whole thing with that is just like, see, we should have had Iroh show up at the end and tell us this is the lesson that Aang learned today.
Oh God, I hated that. In Masks, when Iroh's monologue tells you the lesson of the episode, I was like, jeez. Why is it dumber? Why is it more condescending than a show made for literal 7-year-olds? Like, why?
All right.
This is what the masks symbolize.
Maybe we should have made the live action commentary our stream for kids.
Yeah, that was.
Oh no.
All right. So.
All right. I am out of observations, so allow me to conduct my interlude. We are about to head into the Northern Air Temple. For those who have not joined us for the last couple of episodes, I have been crafting cocktails based on the episodes that we watch on the stream. And this time, I have picked one that was based on the Northern Air Temple episode, which we'll be watching next. So I decided to make a drink that was inspired by Aang and the art of airbending. So I created a cocktail I like to call the Air Scooter. Now, of course, this is a drink that I want to evoke airiness because they're airbenders. So I did a type of drink called a flip. What a flip is you don't. There's two noble things about a flip. One, before you shake it with ice, you do what's called a dry shake, where you shake it without ice. And then you add ice to it, and then you do a wet shake with the ice. The second thing is that they all involve an egg white. And that's why you do the dry shake, because that oxidizes the mixture so it becomes fluffy. And so
If you ever see that foamy quality of some mixed drinks like pisco sours and stuff, that's what Adam's talking about.
Pisco sour, by the way.
That's Peruvian, by the way, just like me.
It is. Yeah, no. It's national. It's the national drink of Peru, and it's so good that Ecuador is trying to steal it.
They sure are.
Wow.
No, pisco sour is one of my faves. And also there's the improved whiskey sour, the amaretto sour. They're also flips. So for the base, I wanted to choose a light spirit, and I chose light rum. Rum, of course, is created by fermenting sugarcane molasses or sugarcane juice. Very fitting for our sweet boy Aang.
Question. Would a flavored rum work as a substitute, or should it just be a light rum? Like, we wouldn't want to use a coconut rum or anything?
If you want, coconut rum probably would work pretty well.
Okay, interesting.
I didn't try it. Of course, this is the first time I made this. I would actually, now more I think that might actually work better. I just make sure it's a coconut rum and not like Malibu, because that's a coconut rum liqueur.
Yeah, it's got something else. Yeah.
Because this is your base spirit. It needs to,
Gotcha.
be a spirit. So yeah, light rum, coconut rum. Use 2 ounces of that. Next, you're going to put in some lime. As with any drink, you need something sour to balance out the sweetness. So for the sweetness, you're going to put in some simple syrup. I actually had to put for my drink. I tasted it first. It was a little too sour. I put some simple syrup in it. It tasted a lot better. So now going forward, I'm going to try using simple syrup. And then I wanted to add a little something else because so far I'm just making a daiquiri. So I chose a hazelnut liqueur called Frangelico. Now, if you ever see Frangelico in the store, it has a bottle that kind of resembles a monk, and this is because, according to the manufacturer, it was created by a man named Friar Angelo, hence the name Friar Angelico, hence the name Frangelico. Is this true? Probably not, but it fits with what I'm going for, so shut up.
I believe in Frangelico. I believe in the Colonel Sanders of liquors. I believe in
Yeah.
Well, that's a
I'll side note, I originally wanted to do something with chartreuse because that is a liquor we know for a fact is made by monks, but I can neither find nor afford it because it's made by monks and they're very secretive with their formula and they haven't been distributing a lot of it, so I can't get my hands on it.
So pledge on Patreon so that we have enough money to go train with a bunch of monks and get their secret formula. All right, pledge on Patreon.
Yeah. They cannot tell us because we are not a monk.
This is your day to fry, crabs. You'll give me that chartreuse secret formula.
I was so imagining all of us showing up in plankton cosplay with monk robes on top, and the monks are just like, "Why?
Yeah. So
Please leave."
So it's a monk. It's based on a monk. Aang's a monk. The Airbenders are monks. I thought it fits. So we got your 2 ounces of rum, about 3/4 ounce of lime juice, about 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, and I'd say 1 to 1.5 ounces of Frangelico, and then you add your egg white into it. Dry shake. Add once you're done dry shaking, add ice. Then wet shake. Strain into a chilled coupe, and since this is your air scooter, you need a little ball in there, so put in a little maraschino cherry. Put a good maraschino cherry in there. This is important because the ones that you see at most places are like full of like artificial coloring and they're bright red. No, get Luxardo maraschino cherries. They are delicious. They are so much better. And once you drink some of your cocktail, the cherry will stick up from the bottom, and you can swish it around, so it's like an air scooter. And yeah, I'll be posting that to social media. And
Now I'm just wondering if you could like soak a cherry in a blue liqueur, like blue curacao, or maybe use something like butterfly pea or anything that can turn something blue or spirulina to make the cherry blue, so it's like Aang's little arrow. I wonder.
That would be interesting. I'd also considered a cocktail onion because they're white, but I don't think that tastes very good. That's mostly for like martinis and stuff.
I guess you could put a blueberry instead, right?
Ooh.
Like as a
blueberry-
substitute
they're
instead of the
kinda
cherry.
small.
Blueberry
though.
doesn't have a stem that you could air scooter around the drink.
You just
No,
put a
you
little.
don't. No, you just swish it around because this is in a coupe. So you're like, you know how you have a glass of wine and you like aerate it by swishing around the glass? That's what you do
Mhm.
with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, I would say blueberry is kind of small.
What
and
about like those
also-
giant fat ones though? You can get some that are as big as like your palm.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. You can. I'm not even joking. Like one that'll fit in your palm, like big. Not as big as your whole palm, but like.
No, that would be too big.
But they do have
Size
some
of a cherry,
huge.
though.
They do have some huge blueberries though. Hold on, let me show you a picture. I've seen some wild ass blueberries in my day.
While you
So,
look
yeah,
up that picture,
So this has been your Ava Bar, the last bartender.
I love it. I'm so glad that you came on because I I made mixed drinks before for like every Batman character, so the fact that you did this, I vibe with it, and I appreciate you
share
so
with
much.
Those. I'm interested.
Oh, I'll share them with you. I also hope you'll post recipes of all these so that we have them.
No, she has a whole list of her Batman drinks somewhere.
Ooh.
All right. While you get that berry, quick thing from chat. We've gotten a lot of Fire Nation propaganda here, but I think by far my favorite one here is Aang said they were pacifists. You don't need to nuke pacifists, though.
You don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just like, well, if they were good guys, then why do we have to get rid of them?
I mean, that's exactly what Sozin said, right?
To be fair, you can't spell pacifist without fist.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, so what's the next one we're watching?
We
the
have
Northern Air
Northern
Temple.
Air Temple, I believe.
Hence the air-themed cocktail from Adam.
That's right. All right.
Alrighty then, we're gonna get on to it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, thank you, Tiffany, for telling everyone to remember to like the video, and yes, subscribe if for some reason you were on the stream and you haven't subscribed. And again, the Patreon and the Ko-Fi that you can donate to help us get those episodes faster. And again, donate to hear Cade and Lucia read Zuko and Azula funny voice meme stuff.
And if you want either Azula or Zuko to shout Fire Nation propaganda, just donate on Patreon. If you want Azula to say it, you have to donate at least 1 penny more than you donate to Zuko.
Or super chat it, either one. Alrighty, to number 17, the Northern Air Temple. the Mechanist, or in the Northern Air Temple.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Adam, do you wish to start us off then?
So one thing that I remember watching when this was on like Nicktoons Network, if anyone remembers that, they had those little blurbs that played during the episode. And they pointed out this is the first Avatar episode to have an ominous ending.
Oh, that's a good point.
Or I guess that's not completely true. The I guess the prison episode, Zuko finding the necklace, but that's
okay. So yeah, so number 2 then, but they don't do it often.
And like, what are the consequences of Zuko having Katara's necklace? I mean, I guess no, because then in Bato the water tribe used it, so I guess that is an ominous ending with actual repercussions. But yeah, this was like the first major ominous, like, this is the point where the Fire Nation becomes more dangerous. Other than that, representation of disabilities. It didn't start with Toph.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And in a way that made sense, because like, oh yeah, my boy can't walk, so I gave him the ability to fly. It very, very seamless transition.
I would also like to point out there are a lot of people, and I'm not saying anyone in this call has made this criticism, but that Korra's technology has advanced way too far. How do you explain those tanks?
Yeah.
Like, I argued they were more advanced than anything we saw in Korra, except for maybe the mech suits. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Very interesting steampunk ideas. Not with the tanks. With like, you know, Teo has a wheelchair, but it makes sense. It's all wooden. You also get...
And it's a different design, too. Like, he's got his legs outstretched.
Yeah, and you can see he's in bandages.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Interesting that they were refugees of a flood, not the Fire Nation.
Yeah, it's not everyone, I guess, gets rushed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it makes more sense that he'd be willing to work with the Fire Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he doesn't want to, but, like, he might have been more reluctant if the Fire Nation was the reason.
Yeah.
Though he probably still would have for safety. I really like Zachary Taylor Eisen's comedic delivery at the beginning. And when Teo's like, "What'd you think of that?" And Aang's like, "It's great." It's great.
The most unenthused.
It's great.
No, Aang's like, I bet you can't do this, and he starts running.
Oh dang! I was about to say, I was wondering, like, if he was gonna do a thing like, yeah, I can do this thing, and I forgot, I couldn't remember if Aang stunted on them while they were doing the flying thing very much, and I was very ready to say, wow, Aang, way to style on the disabled person who can't walk.
Yeah. I also saw James mention in the chat that them using the fire insignia is a war crime.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was gonna mention that. Yeah, because that specifically that is false flag. That is a war crime, and I believe this is the first war crime that the gang commits.
Mm-hmm. But they're technically not military.
No, well, they may not be military, but they were active combatants.
They were using an active official military logo in a way that disguised them from that same military.
Yeah, fun fact.
This is just me getting out ahead of the fact that Azula did the same thing with the Kyoshi warriors.
Yeah, well, because again, the difference between a false flag and espionage is that you can only disguise yourself as the enemy for intelligence purposes. But that is perfectly fine. And if you use it as a combative role, that is called false flag, and that is a war crime.
Okay.
Which is also sad because that means that one of the age-old Star Wars tropes of disguising yourself as a stormtrooper, every single time it happens, it's a war crime. A New Hope is 50% war crime.
No.
Now, do we care because the Empire blew up a planet? Absolutely not. But technically speaking, it is a war crime, yes. But it's just now again, just because it was a war crime doesn't mean that we aren't 100% rooting, and we probably would have done the same thing, but only because they were the good guys. Because you can definitely see of it being like, of that being used against you there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, they didn't intend to do that. It was just a circumstance of
technically,
Mechanist
yes, yeah.
making the insignia because it was originally meant for the Fire Nation. It's not like they had time to change the insignia because they're on opposite sides. It wasn't a conscious effort of deception.
I don't think that argument would hold up in a court of law.
But you know what would hold up in a court of law?
Well, then let's take him to the Hague. Oh, wait, there is no Hague in this world.
I was going to say, you know what would hold up in the court of law? I'm the Avatar. Misaki Yoshi did it. All right. So is that your thoughts on Adam?
I don't know.
She can't hear me.
Hermit crabs.
I can hear everything.
Because they got like bison fur. They have the same fur as like Appa and Mumo.
Oh yeah, those little critters.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what's it? Everyone forgets that the mechanic has prosthetic fingers. Wait, was that a thing?
Yeah. When
he was
explains his knife sharpener.
He takes his 3 fingers off. And
three
gives
times
them
to get it right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
I love how much they incorporate his creations into his character design. Like, he's missing fingers because he was making a knife sharpener. He has patchy eyebrows because he got blown up when trying to examine the temple. Very, very good work on character design with that character.
Yeah, with the lore informs the design.
And also Rene Aubergenois was a great casting choice. Very good at playing those like intellectual.
Oh, he was the Mechanist.
Harebrained. He was the Mechanist. Yeah. Yeah. He also played the leader of the. What are they? The Zhang in the Great Divide. Who are the prissy ones?
The prissy ones were the Zhang.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zhang. He was the leader of the Zhang in the Great Divide. He comes back as the Mechanist. Also, I noticed D. Bradley Baker voiced one of the guards. Blinking to miss it, but and then Teo was voiced by Daniel Simonis, whose most notable other role is Maki in Final Fantasy 13. And so there's that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much I have. It was a fun episode. I don't know how much I have in terms of analysis.
Yeah, I would say good points though. I want to piggyback off of some of them coming here next. Like you mentioned, the tanks. Actually, before moving on. Oh wait. Okay, yeah, the prosthetic fingers thing. I was gonna say, yeah, the tanks. It is worth noting that the Fire Nation is far more industrialized than the rest of the world, and like the idea is that in between between Avatar and Korra, they just sort of caught them all up. Because it's really interesting. Because we see later, in season 3.
Well,
how Sozin said, oh, he wanted to share the technology with the world, and here we are 100 years later. The Fire Nation kept the technology all for themselves, and they only used it to suppress the populace. They did not share it like Sozin so nobly said he was going to do.
Yeah. I was well for one. That's always that is the language of a fascist. I'm doing this for everyone, but really we're only doing it for us. But also, I was under the impression that the Mechanist was behind most of the inventions. Like, he probably made those tanks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He said, yeah. Teo says that. No, he made those tanks.
Yeah, he
Teo
did,
says
yes.
as much.
Yeah, well, more so it's like the Fire Nation already had things like Steam to begin with. You know, just give those things to a person who can invent, and then you get more stuff.
Yeah, he probably had the resources.
Yeah, provided by the Fire Nation. On that same thing, that I really want my Avatar real-time strategy game. I'm gonna build an army filled with tanks and Yu Yang archers and Rhino riders, and you guys won't be able to do a thing to stop me. That's how it's gonna go. Yeah, again, it's another nice, even though this is technically quote unquote a filler episode, more world building, like taking a look at the other air temple, taking a look at the refugees flashing out.
I argue it's not a filler episode because
I wouldn't say it's a filler episode.
I said it can be considered one. Like just
it actually has
yeah.
a crucial blink and you miss it bit of foreshadowing for the drill.
Oh, what is there? Wait, is there like a plan in the?
There is. If you look closely, somewhere in the background, there's a shot of the blueprints for the drill showing that the Mechanist.
Also, that ominous ending that Adam was talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
Does have repercussions. Yeah.
But I get what you mean. It's one of the episodes that lets the characters breathe and focus more on them.
It's one that some people would think, yeah, I could probably skip this one. But I mean, like, again, there's so much solid stuff here. Again, like, it's really hard to call any episode of Avatar filler just because of how much, sheer amount of stuff we get pushed into these episodes. So yeah, and then the final thing I was gonna mention. Wait, what was it? I lost it. Oh, because I had all the inventions. This is where Sokka starts his engineering arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we get to show. I mean, I guess we did. It's not the first time we see it. We see it in Battle of the Water Tribe, but we. Can see that
okay, that is true. But yeah.
He is silly, but he is smart.
Yeah, and he does that. And yeah, and I do think it's really interesting because the Fire Nation, like, messenger guy, or general, whoever he was, shows up via the secret passage, retreats back down, and then immediately shows up with the army. So that means, I like the idea that basically the Fire Nation is just like, okay, every 6 months or so, we march this entire army to the base of this mountain. We send our one general up, and we keep this army here, so just in case that they don't, keep with their promise, we are immediately ready to strike back if they don't make good on their deal. So I thought that's an interesting...
Very, very economically sound strategy.
Yeah, so they just had them wait, and they're like, well, I'm going back down. They didn't have anything. Of course, I am wondering if, like, how many times this guy has marched it up here, and there's some Fire Nation soldier that's just like, every 6 months, it's the same thing. We walk to this mountain, the guy goes up, the guy comes down, and we walk back. We couldn't just stay home. So yeah, that is me. What about you, Dorn?
Yeah. Yeah. I was very also fascinated by the tanks. They remind me of something, but I just can't put my finger on it at the moment. But like the design just reminds me of another kind of carrier transport. But I'll come back to maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But I do love like the fact that it shows the threat that, when the Fire Nation can be equipped with such weapons, they're a danger. Like when, for example, Aang just was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna dislodge their propulsion cable, and then the tank falls and shoots another propulsion cable, and Aang had a surprise Pikachu face saying like, wait, they can do it? A better way of like they fly now kind of situation. But, like, done better this time because he was like, wait.
The version they fly now versus the Chad, whatever the phrase was said.
yeah, so like maybe there's a better word for it, but my brain is like fried right now. I don't know.
The grappling system.
Grappling, yeah, the grappling hook. So like, so yeah, there's that, and then also like when Aang just tried to whack them down, and then the way that they twisted that, like the compartment, like the main compartment where the firebender gunner and the driver are, like that always impressed me because I was like, damn, that is a surprising amount of engineering for sure. And yeah, I do believe that because I mean, how old is Teo now compared to like when the Mechanist made that deal with the Fire Nation? Because if we're talking years, then definitely I can buy that. There's a lot of stuff and plans for machines that he made for
probably a good decade, I think.
Oh, then that's oof.
Yeah. Teo was too young to remember when the Fire Nation first found and threatened and or blackmailed the Mechanist.
Yeah, press them into service.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, I always like that the fact that I feel like Aang being upset is more I feel like in a way also expressing the fact that yeah, I've been gone for 100 years and like progress has just changed everything, my whole world. So I guess a comment on industrialization, but I think also the fact like, man, if the monks were still around, this shit wouldn't have happened, kind of thing. Like
the culture.
Yeah, because like you can understand why it is, but at the same time, I feel like that's also like a way of him expressing the fact that his absence, like 100-year absence. Like that's why I always liked when he says like when Sokka was like, "Look at all this amazing stuff," and Aang's response is, "It's unbelievable." I felt like that was intentional, like him saying it like that, like I can't believe it. Basically, like I almost can't recognize this place due to how much they changed. And I also always liked the twist of the fact that the designs for the balloon were actually in the place of the temple that everybody except the Mechanist thought had not been touched. Because when Aang opened the doors, because of what we had in the Southern Air Temple, the impression was like, oh, we're gonna see a bunch of the other Avatar statues and other cool monk stuff then. And then it's like dun dun dun. I always like that part. It's like, oh god, like the twist is always like it's pretty nice. And yeah, also like Adam was saying, like I also just love like the fact that this episode shows just how smart Sokka is. Like he really could have like a whole engineer's career ahead of him. Actually, I'd like to think he kind of did that as like a part of like when he grew older. Kind of like a hobby thing, like making stuff. Well, wasn't one of you had the idea of the one that what actually killed him was like what was it, the ski thing? Like he made a ski. You know,
like he was trying out one of the glider thingies or something.
No,
or
no,
on a skateboard. Skateboard.
Yeah, skateboard. That was the one. That was the one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah. But yeah. Oh yeah, and talking about economics of the Fire Nation, yeah, it is pretty funny that they send the one guy up and down all the time, and the army just goes up and down the mountain. Like, what was it? Every year or every couple months? Like,
however long they thought it was going to be.
That's Fire Nation tactics right there.
Yeah.
It's subtle intimidation, but you don't know it's an intimidation until you see the army.
Yeah.
So that is just that one guy. Like, yeah, give us the goods. But yeah, I also like Teo. And yeah, I think you guys also mentioned this, but they do make it breathe a lot more here than the live action. Like with Teo, the Mechanist, it breathes in a lot more of like what are they doing and what's their deal, them and settlement. And then also at the end, it's just cute how Aang is like, yeah, this like I'm actually glad you guys are here and living here. Yeah. But then yeah, I do like the foreshadowing, of course, of the fire balloon. Like dun, like because they're gonna do something about that, and they do, as we see later about.
Yeah. So Bandiki says, no air balloons, no airships, no airship slice without that. So
exactly.
I also want to point out we got another fire propaganda piece here that says the Fire Nation failed to capture one air temple even with modern technology and a single airbender. How could they have beaten them 100 years ago?
If you guys want to laugh, I have something for you that's gonna crack you up. I have here posts from somebody who has never actually watched Avatar, but has only like absorbed information about it from cultural osmosis, and they tried to describe the main characters of Avatar, and it's like the funniest thing.
Oh yeah, this is great.
Do you guys want to hear it?
I was about to say, if Dorn is finished, then yes, I'm good to hear.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, then let's hear it.
The main cast: Azula, scrunkly lesbian; Zuko, her annoying brother, redeemed, buddies with Sokka; Sokka, Zuko's gay best friend; Katara, Azula's girlfriend, enemies to lovers, very romantic; Ty Lee, Azula's girlfriend, also somewhat confusing; May, Zuko's girlfriend; Ozai, Azula's evil father; Iroh, Azula's uncle, probably committed war crimes that he feels bad, created a resistance movement against his brother to seize power after the war. I'm pretty sure I have perfectly understood Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm slightly unsure, though. Which one of these people is the airbender? Somebody replied to them saying, my favorite thing about this is that Aang's name isn't on the list anywhere. And they replied, who?
Wait, where is this? I need to see this.
I can post it for you. Hold on.
Please.
I like how
just
you
posted it
Hi,
to
Zilla.
her Twitter. So
I like how you mentioned, because of the post briefly, that about Azula's evil dad, and now Zilla's here, like on cue.
That was that's what I was thinking.
Perfect
like,
timing.
Speak of the devil. Welcome.
Yeah, that's. Oh no.
Exactly.
Now I'm reading the thing in full. Oh dear.
Yeah, Zilla, sorry. We decided to only do 2 episodes today, since 1, we are preparing for CabbageCon next week, and 2, the last 3 episodes are all in the Northern Water Tribe, so it makes sense to do them together.
The last 3 episodes of season 1.
Yeah. There's only 20 episodes, so one of the watches had to have 2. Hey,
Did Cow return to?
Cow is back.
I'm grumpy, but I'm here. Maybe.
Oh.
It's just cosplay mishaps. You know how it be.
Oh no.
You missed it. Cow. I was reading the post from someone.
Oh no, I heard, and I also saw the post in the other chat.
It was sending me, dude. So funny. Someone misunderstood.
What is scrunkly? I need to know what that adjective means.
I looked it up once. If I remember, it's a lesbian who is like someone who's very lovable but like prickly and kind of difficult sometimes, but I could be wrong. Let's look it up.
I like how, well, if it's inherently a lesbian, the fact that they specified scrunkly lesbian, like double lesbian.
I know it is supposed to have like a somewhat positive connotation.
A term of endearment towards something that is kind of weird, cryptic, or overall eccentric in a kind of funky way. But despite this, it's still cute.
So me? All right.
Yeah. The scrunkly.
Scrunkly.
It makes me think of like scruggly, like, you know, like that handsome archetype. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Or himbo.
Oh, himbo.
Himbo has a different vibe to me.
I read a fic where Azula and Katara got together because I've never watched Avatar. I assume that's the canon vibe.
Is that what it's from? Another thing from the.
Yeah, that's how it starts, is that this person is confused because they read a fic about Katara and Azula getting together, but I guess they'd seen somewhere Katara and Azula fighting, and they were like, wait a minute, do Katara and Azula not like each other? I thought they were dating. What's going on?
This is an alternate universe.
So what is
Jazzy.
this? Is Azula's harem?
No, it's a person who's never actually seen the show, but only absorbed the information about it through cultural osmosis. So they've completely misunderstood what the show's about.
Derivative works.
And then decided it was Azula's harem.
Well, more like they thought that's what it was because of the misinformation fed to them by fandom.
They clearly thought Azula was the main character.
Here, I'll tag you, Zilla, so you can see the actual post here.
It's right in our text chat.
It's right there. I just thought it was funny. I wanted to share it with you guys.
I see it.
Anyway, is it James's turn?
It is James.
It
Yes.
is my turn.
I always want
I
to
do
hear
think
from the
it's
music
hilarious how
meister.
accurate she got Iroh.
Oh, I know, right? Although it's interesting to hear him described as Azula's uncle, which is true, but usually people attach him to Zuko, so that was interesting.
Well, apparently in this fic, you're centered around Azula.
Well, apparently the show was centered around Azula, according to this person.
This show is centered around James.
Who?
Me.
The stream, it's centered around James. This is the James show.
Yeah, I was
James.
referencing the post where it's like, who? It's like Aang's not even on this list. Who?
All right. Yes.
Go on,
Speak,
James.
James.
Yeah, so the big thing that stood out to me for this episode was the fact that the Fire Nation tanks were 3D animated. Like, this show gets a lot of well-deserved praise for how beautiful all of the hand-drawn animation is. But it also deserves a lot of credit for how seamless they managed to work 3D animation into the show, particularly for the Fire Nation tech, which is interesting because it creates a sort of disconnect between all of the natural world being hand-drawn and then this rapidly advancing Fire Nation tech being 3D animated. And that always came off as real interesting to me. And something that tends to get overlooked, I feel. I don't think I see too many people talking about the 3D animation worked in throughout the show.
Yeah.
Probably because it's done properly.
Yeah. Like so people don't really think about it.
They don't complain about it.
Doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
It's not too distracting.
Yeah, like don't think
it
about
doesn't
it.
distract from the anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then,
and
like,
it feels very cohesive with the rest of the animation.
Yeah, but then there are
blends
moments
in.
where you see the tank flip, and then the cockpit flips, and it's so smooth, and then it cuts to the other flipped tanks having their cockpits flip, and it is, it works. I like it. And yeah, that was a big thing that stood out to me. Everyone else spoke on character development and whatnot.
That's that is a pretty interesting. Yeah, the whole thing of having the hand drawn stuff being the more nature stuff, and then having the technology make the technology.
Yeah, and
cool stylistic choice.
Thank you to Bandy K in the comments for reminding us that this was 2005, and it may look a little rough now, but it's still pretty smooth, especially for 2005.
For a 2005 TV show,
for its time, it's great.
Yeah.
Especially for a Nickelodeon show.
Hey guys, our book 4 Twitter has made it over 1,000.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh. Nice.
It's over 1,000. Well, actually, it's exactly 1,000.
Yeah. I'll have to come back later to make the joke. Hang on. So someone in chat right now who isn't following our Twitter, follow our Twitter so we can say it's over 1,000.
Yeah. Come on.
Do it for the memes, man.
For the memes, yes. Alrighty then. I was about to say, again, you weren't around, Cal, but feel free to spew thoughts if you have them.
Well, before
I wasn't watching along, but if you briefly remind me what episode we're on, I can chime in.
Hang on, sorry, I think James said something else. I forgot.
Northern Air Temple.
But before I pass the floor, I would just like to point out how bold that Fire Nation propaganda account in chat is to attribute quotes to Azula while we have Azula here in chat with us. That is all.
Presence attempting to speak for me. The Fire Nation failed to capture even one air temple, even with modern technology, with only a single real airbender living there. Do you really mean to tell me we annihilated all 4 of them 100 years ago, while also leaving the wooden inner sanctum doors untouched?
Actually, no. They set traps to catch the rest of them, which you can see and our newest episode of the Book 4 Restoration Project, episode 5,
Ooh.
The Lost Scrolls. Check it out. That, my friends, is what we call synergy.
All right. So yeah, Cal, we just watched the Mechanist, or not the Mechanist, the
Northern Air Temple
with the Mechanist in it.
Okie dokie. I am refreshed. Apologies if this stuff has been said already. I'm just gonna talk and see where I go. It's usually my way. So I really like this episode for a number of reasons. I like how it gives a very realistic healing moment for Aang. So on the one hand, he's very distraught and upset to see that his home more or less is taken over by non-airbenders. That change is very jarring and shocking and in ways traumatizing to him. And I think it also helps to solidify like his people are no longer here. Like that's another nail in the coffin for him.
Yeah.
So it's a very painful reaction. And I think it's something that me as a child watching identified with strongly. Because you ever are out of the house for like a day or a week or whatever, and like somebody's been in your room, or someone's over and you're having to share your space, and that feeling of like, hey, like you're in my, like, what the heck, dude? Like it's like an interloper, like who is here taking over my area. It's a very jarring and uprooting kind of a feeling. So I definitely related with Aang in that moment, even though I'm not an airbender in the Avatar universe, but I was with Aang being like, hey, no, you guys aren't airbenders. Get the heck out of here. What the heck? This is wrong. But then you have this, over the course of the episode, this very mature way of realizing, and this mature healing sequence. He knows that these people are in need, and they are appreciating and finding benefit and joy in this space, in a place that is providing them safety and sanctuary. And so his people aren't here anymore, but others still are. There are still people who are alive, who are fighting, who want to survive in a world that is being terrorized by the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
And for his home that was once empty and bereft and covered in dust and cobwebs and echoing with the ghost of this past that is no longer here, is now able to be filled with life and love and laughter and warmth. Is able to be a home again. And I think that kind of is like a full circle moment for Aang, which I think it's a recurring theme for Aang is his healing with the Air Nomad genocide.
Yeah, this is something that continues even into the comics, and we see this
Exactly
conflict in episode 3 of The Promise, which you can find on our channel, where Aang
at Book 4 Air Restoration.
Yeah.
But yeah, James is absolutely right, and we see where Aang encounters these air acolytes, or what do they call themselves before they get the name acolyte?
Yeah, the Avatar Aang fan club or something.
Yeah, so it's like the
Something
first
like that.
chapter or
It
something.
was started as a fan club.
Started as a fan club, and he was like, whoa, you can't have air nomad tattoos. You can't be doing this. Like, these are sacred rites. It's not just a costume for you to don. And I think that has a lot of real world reflection. It reflects a lot of current events. There's so much talk about cultural appropriation, or what's the line between appreciation and appropriation, and how do we keep things as a beautiful melting pot, but also not like whitewashing or not diluting the culture of places that we've come from. So I think that that's a very topical theme. But back to the episode, I also appreciate the ingenuity that you get to see, because we're so used to this world as being very not necessarily advanced in terms of like the levels of technology. We see bending and its unique applications, for example, in Omashu, but we're not giving a lot of glimpses into engineering feats other than the Fire Nation with their ships and their steam power and all of their crazy weapons of war. But then you get to see the fun ingenuity of the Mechanist and Sokka and their little one adventure to another little tinkering brains, like mind melding, and it's beautiful and it's fun. But then you also see the underside of that dark underbelly of, well, what does somebody with this level of talent or this level of genius or vision what position do they find themselves in when they're up against a wall, when their chips are down, when they're just trying to keep their family safe in a world where everyone is at risk and everyone is not safe. And it comes down to, you know, what is the greater good? Is the greater good protecting my family? Is the greater good the world? And where do we draw that line? And I think it poses a lot of really intricate and really juicy moral quandaries and moral questions that can be extrapolated on throughout the rest of the series. But I think it does a good job of saying, like, you can be a good person and still be doing morally questionable things. And like, not everything is so black and white, cut and dry. There's a lot of gray in a world that is suffering to such a vast scale.
Doing the wrong thing for the right reason.
Exactly. And is that the cut and dry end all? That is, you know, a wrong thing? Where are those divisions? Where are those distinctions?
He felt like he had, like the Mechanist, he felt like he had no choice.
Exactly. And I think in a world
Another
that's
thing
so
I
many
think ATLA dumbed down, by the way, with the Mechanist plot, like a lot.
Oh yeah, just in general.
Yeah, like it's
very much.
He's like in Omashu,
diluted
and
a lot of
like
that.
he just kind of like trades information with one dude who firebends in the middle of the city for some reason to prove himself. Like, it's really odd, as opposed to here where it's like, no, dude, we literally have only carved out a life for ourselves because I've done this for the Fire Nation. Like, it's just a completely different situation.
Yeah, and it takes away all of the nuance and all of the different facets of it and condenses it into a very diluted version of, honestly, like not even the full extent of what it should have been. It changes the meaning. But I think it's reminiscent of what we see in history time and time again. For example, World War II, there were countless scientists that were held under duress and forced to create inventions or create advancements for sides that they did not support. And while maybe the Mechanist is not necessarily like locked up in some science dungeon, he is in a way held hostage.
Locked up.
Yeah, he has his handicapped son to think about. He has all of these people who are counting on him for safety and security in this place.
Yep.
And I think that goes to show you that in a world where everyone is being persecuted, everyone is under attack and under siege, and nobody is safe, why the lines start to blur. Where is safety, and what are you willing to do when it's everything is on the line? What comes down to what's the most important? And I also think it shows like that there's room for redemption even when we make the wrong choices for the right reasons or vice versa. There's still room to take a step back, reassess, and acknowledge that that wasn't the best choice that I could have made. And there are always other options as long as we keep moving forward. Like, maybe in that moment there aren't other options, but that doesn't mean that there are never going to be other options. Because I think so often people get locked up in their mindset of, well, this is I had to do what I had to do. That was my only choice. Maybe in that moment that could definitely be true. But 10 moments from now, the next day, a year from now, months from now, what are your choices then? Have you taken the time to take a step back and reassess and look at all of the options, and whichever ones have now come about that you didn't have before? I think people are so used to, well, I made the bad choice, so now I'm stuck making the bad choice. And I think Avatar shows us time and again that our choices are a lot more nuanced than that. That's basically the gist. I enjoy the rotten egg bit with the gas. I enjoy Sokka getting to nerd out. I enjoy Aang healing and understanding like the renewal and like the circle of life and like better things will come. And like getting to bond over someone with gliding and like his air nomad culture and all that fun jazz. Great episode. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Also,
I didn't self-deprecate.
And you brought totally new points that no one else mentioned. So
because Cow is the smartest. I love her.
I love you.
Alrighty then. So that brings us to Lou and Cade.
So a lot of what Cow was saying, like, you know, the sort of thing where even good people can get caught up in being complicit or even helping with horrible things in a situation where you're under duress. But I think there's another theme here that I'm really sad got missed out in ATLA. Like, for all them, however much ATLA wants to convince us that, oh, isn't it sad that Aang lost his people? He's so sad about Gyatso. I don't think it really does any better at presenting what it would be like to lose all of your culture. Like, Aang barely feels like he cares about any of it other than Gyatso personally. And I think that's a bit of a misstep, because something I appreciate about this episode is it really drives home for Aang that he really is the last of his people. When he objects to all the changes they're making to the temple, other people don't object because they don't get it. Like, they don't understand the problem. This looks like progress to so many people, because why would they? They don't even know what it was originally supposed to be like. They don't know what the air nomads lived like. They don't know that these things are sacred. And how hard it must be for Aang to sit there and watch his people's like homes and culture, the things
slowly
that
fade away even further than it already has faded away.
Yeah, be treated like
the
irrelevant.
wall being knocked down was super funny, but also super sad.
And that's really the thing, right? It's like, man, and something that North and South in the comics later kind of echoes is the march of progress versus tradition. And as much as we in our real lives can try to find a balance, that balance is impossible when you're the last of your people. There is no balance to be found. He either preserves it or he doesn't. And I know this episode gets some criticism because a lot of people say that the Mechanists got off super easy, not for the Fire Nation thing, but for destroying so much of the temple, and that the show just kind of lets it happen and breezes past it and acts like it's not a big deal, and that the answer is a bad one, that you should just let people trample on your culture. But I think that's a bit of an unfair reading. I think the real reading is that people who are alive right now and in danger right now need to be the priority. Yeah. And the thing is,
they must to survive.
Exactly. As much as it can hurt to have lost your entire people, and as much as you want to preserve every scrap of them you can, which is important, and Aang should. The fact is, these people are alive right now and in danger right now and need a safe place to live right now. And no matter how important the past is, the people who are alive right now have to come first.
You have to be able to look to the present and the future.
Yeah. And I think, if anything, it is very much respecting his own culture that Aang lets it go, because the air nomads greatly treasured the concept of detachment from physical things, right? And so as much as it hurt Aang to see the temple changed this way and torn apart in some ways to install, plumbing or whatever, in the end, he lets it go. And in doing so, honors his people's values, because had his people still been alive, they likely would have also said a temple is not more important than saving people that need a place to stay and making sure they have the things they need to live and protect themselves and be healthy and happy. And this is a very, very Buddhist mentality, actually. I don't know if you've ever seen the mandalas that Buddhist monks will make with sand, with colored sand. They're absolutely gorgeous. If you look online, the mandalas they make, they'll make these beautiful, intricate patterns out of just colored sand with little straws. It can take months. Some of them can even take years. But the thing is, the moment you're done, you're meant to blow it away. Even though you've spent so long crafting something so beautiful, so painstakingly, sand by sand, slowly building something, the point is to let it go. No matter how much effort you put into it, how beautiful it is, how much you love it. You cannot hold on. Everything is impermanent. Change is a part of life. So let it go. And I think that that's very much what they were embodying here. And I think it can be difficult coming from a more Western culture where, especially the United States, where this show was originally made for, right? Where we come from a legacy of colonialism and genocide and slavery. And it is very easy to go, well, because of our own guilt for the horrible things we have done, to look at this and go, well, Aang let them off too easy. But I think it is important that Aang was respecting his own beliefs when he chose to let the temple go for the benefit of the people that needed it more. And this is going to tie in later with his decision to not kill Ozai against all odds. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty neat that him letting it go is respecting his culture. That does make a lot of sense.
Anyway, it's all you, Cade. Try to follow that up, brother.
Okay. Well, how do I say this? I have really two interesting things to say.
Probably say it in English.
I think his brain just fried.
I'm sorry.
It's like, what? What other language would I say?
You asked how to say this, so I tried to help. Okay.
I can say it in any language. You want me to say it in Spanish, French? I got you.
No, sorry, Kate, go ahead.
No. I kind of want to hear Lucia say it in a different language.
In Spanish, French, Japanese, what you want?
Let's do Spanish or Spanish.
Someone's got a super chat for that, so you go. You talk. You're not getting out of this.
I was hoping to stall for like 2 more seconds. Anyway, Curtis, say that again.
Oh, I was saying you could say it in English.
Scheifeltisch!
Okay.
Anyway, with that being said, interesting thing number 1, it's, at least I'm pretty sure that it's like, there's like an 80% chance that the Fire Nation troops that found him was most likely Zuko when he was first looking for Aang, like when Aang was still in the iceberg, because he checked every single temple.
That found who?
That found the Mechanist.
Ah.
It was most likely Zuko.
What makes you think that?
Because he checked all the air temples long before he got to the South Pole and everything.
Oh, so they interacted?
I disagree again, because Teo was a very young baby when the Fire Nation found him, and Zuko had only been on his whole
It'd been for 3
banishment
years.
3 years
3
prior to
years.
the events of the show.
And Teo was about Aang's age, right? Maybe a little older.
I think he's Aang's exact age.
What?
Yeah,
Which
so-
temple were they at?
They're at the Northern Air Temple.
No. Zuko, when he found Yang Chen's hermitage in the manga, what temple was that?
That was the Eastern Air Temple.
That was the Eastern
That's
Air
where Yang
Temple.
Chen's
So
hermitage is.
so then he may have never actually made it to the
Wasn't that
Northern Air
where
Temple.
Guru Patik was?
That is where Guru Patik was, which
Yeah.
is where Zuko found him. Almost called him Cade because you dubbed that episode.
The only
so-
one we know, the only two we know for sure that he went to in person are the Western and the Eastern.
Yes.
We never see him in the Southern one or the Northern one. I just kind of assume he must have gone to them at some point, because why would he be at the South Pole if he hadn't?
Well, maybe he was checking out the Southern Air Temple, and then he saw, what's it called? The Aurora Australis.
The Aurora Australis.
And he
yeah.
thought that was because Iroh says it's just the Southern Lights. Maybe then Zuko put them on a wild goose chase, chasing the Southern Lights for a while.
Iroh, the Avatar's in the north. No, Zuko, it's just the Northern Lights or the Southern Lights.
Just the Southern Lights. Well, may I see it? No.
If you had watched the Dishonored stream, you would have had the reveal of Zuko's diary entry where he feels like the stupidest person on earth for falling for that.
Oh yeah, we read his diary entry where he
There
was
were other
chasing
things
them
in that
around.
diary, if I recall.
Oh, there's a lot of fun
There
things.
was
You guys should
nothing
watch
else in that
Zuko
diary.
plays Dishonored. There's a lot of fun stuff in that.
What else? The other thing I was going to say. Oh, right. When I was a kid, I used to think this episode was part of Book 3 because I had only ever seen it when Book 3 was airing, and something about the tease that there were more airbenders running around made it feel like, oh, this must be like near the end of the show kind of thing. But Kate, what about Toph? I don't fucking know. I was a kid who Toph was on for an episode. They do that regularly.
I also think that this kind of served as a sort of like the trauma of Aang having to watch what his people probably went through with the Fire Nation encroaching on their temple and not being able to really stop them. So that's kind of terrible. Poor Aang.
But also eye-opening to the audience.
Oh yeah.
It definitely shows how nowadays the Fire Nation is like way more capable of actually reaching the temples.
Well, they clearly were capable then too.
At least by comet, yeah. But now they don't even need a comet anymore. Now they have the technology to just scale them whenever the fuck they choose. What was it? Other than that, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I've seen this episode a lot when I was younger, and now I come back to it and I'm like, it's not really my favorite episode to watch. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's funny. Sokka and the Mechanist and their whole rotten egg thing is kind of funny. The Mechanist.
Did they ever find the rotten egg in the office?
Not that we saw on screen.
Because they got the idea and just decided to rush away and implement it. I'm not sure if they ever
Sounds
found
like
it.
a classic genius at
Well,
work.
Oh, they did. The Mechanist was the rotten egg. He was helping the Fire Nation.
Ah.
I was
the reveal.
I was about to say, if they didn't, they're gonna remember real
Sokka
quick when
was
they
like-
go back in that office.
Sokka was like, damn, my plan was perfect, except the egg was metaphorical.
I do have to say, I do love like the Mechanist workshop. It feels very like nostalgic to me. Like, do y'all remember like 90s, early 2000s, even like probably prior to that? There was always like that one like professor or inventor type character, and they had like a million like ongoing projects all over their workspace, and it's like, oh no, don't touch that, don't touch that. And everything like just looked cool and inventive and creative, and
Definitely used
I
to
don't
be
know,
a
it
more
makes me think of
popular
like
archetype,
Atlantis or like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, or like could go on and on. Like it just
Or even
it's so fun.
Futurama. Even Futurama
Yeah.
with Farnsworth. He's always got some invention he's working on. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know
Or,
exactly what
what
you
was that
mean.
one, Meet the Robinsons. Like all of those like fun inventor type, they always have, but I don't know. I like the ones that aren't rude, because I feel like in recent years, like the genius archetype has just been like this very cold and rude, and I'm so smart that I get to be rude, like Sherlock-esque character. I like
Tony
the like
Stark, Doctor
klutzy, dorky, I'm just here and fascinated by gizmos and whatnot. Like I like that type of genius. That's a lot more fun to me.
Sokka.
Yeah,
Like
less Doctor
Sokka.
Strange and more Peter
Exactly.
Parker. Yeah.
There's a reason he's my favorite.
What about me, Azula? I'm a good person now.
Are you a smart person though?
Azula, you're a lot more like House. than you
Oh,
are
man.
Sokka.
Is that even a question, Curtis?
Excuse me, Curtis. You'd be dead right now if I wasn't such a good person now. Okay, how dare you?
Okay.
Death threat issued.
This episode is the introduction to a
Respectfully. I said respectfully, therefore I'm a good person.
Okay. Apparently, I'm not a smart person.
This episode is the
Prime Minister Curtis is so smart.
this episode is the introduction to a minor recurring character called War Minister Chin.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Oh, that is
okay.
Mr. Chin.
So here's my my conspiracy theory, all right, about War Minister Chin. He gets brought up here, and then he gets brought up in the drill, and then he's in the Day of Black Sun. He's in that underground bunker, like he's important. Where Azula is, right? Because he's the one that they're like, "Where's Ozai?" And
He's
like,
the one that leads into
over
Azula.
there. Okay, so clearly this character's meant to be important, but after a while, he just like disappears, and we never hear about him again. I have a theory about something, and that is, so you know how they cut an arc from book 3 for Azula that was supposed to be the forced engagement arc, and what remained of it got recycled into the beach. It was cut for time, not because they didn't want to use it. But a lot of there's been a lot of speculation over like who was she supposed to be forcibly engaged to, because she hits on Chan on the beach. So some people thought, well, it probably was him, but that doesn't make a lot of sense, because if Ozai is forcing this engagement, you think it's for political gain. So who would it be? And my conspiracy theory is they were setting up that Ozai was going to be like, yeah, Azula, you got to marry War Mr. Chin for my own political, like, you know, what he gave me the airships. So there you go. That's my theory.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's awful, right? Because it's Ozai. And I think that the point was that was supposed to show the audience that being Ozai's favorite is not all it's cracked up to be. And Azula is stuck doing whatever he wants. For book 4, unfortunately, War Minister Chin is not there. And we didn't bring this up, but we instead had it be that
favorite.
and we instead had it be that Ozai had been planning to marry her off to Zhao, and that's why he let Zhao get promoted a bunch of times. Ozai was like, all right, Zhao, if you can actually kill the moon and succeed in defeating the water tribe in the way my father couldn't, and show up Iroh and his failed bossing say thing, then sure, you can marry my daughter and be closer to the throne. And Zhao was like, bet, and it didn't work out for him. That is our angle. But I think War Minister Chin was originally getting set up for that, but that's just a conspiracy theory.
The most War Minister Chin gets to be in the book 4 continuity is just the main villain of the Zuko Plays Dishonored stream.
You don't know that. You don't know. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe I'm lying.
Maybe you'll write him in to spite me, but
just
as of
to
right
make
now,
you look like a liar.
As just on the off chance, well, just as right now, unless Lucia decides to make me a liar in the future, you'll only see book 4 War Minister Chin if you watch the Zuko Plays Dishonored streams, which wrapped up last week.
We are
Also, I
going
guess-
to rewrite, redraw, and re-release episode 5, replacing Ukano with War Minister Chin.
Yep.
Also,
You heard
since
it
I'm
here
on the
first.
topic, I guess I do have somewhat of a surprise announcement for everybody who wasn't here during the last Dishonored stream.
What's that?
In the coming weeks, I don't have an exact date, but it'll be like a couple weeks from now.
The After Cabbage Con.
Yeah, definitely after Cabbage Con. The next video game stream it won't be me playing this time. It'll be Azula playing, and you will get to watch as Azula conquers the land of New Vegas.
Let's go. I'm excited. I'm going to conquer New Vegas.
While Zuko uses it as a way to teach her what it means to be a good person.
I'm already a good person. Easy. That's like taking a Spanish class for college credit when you already speak Spanish. Easy. I've got this.
So you'll pass it with flying colors.
Yeah, easily.
It's muy fácil.
Muy fácil.
Unless you have a Spanish teacher who's extraordinarily pretentious and insists that you learn Spanish when you grew up with all the many Latin American
Oh, no. Fortunately, that's the kind of Spanish I speak. Entonces no te preocupes. Ya sé cómo hacerlo. Actually, I can speak multiple dialects, so I'm ready. Let's go. Give me that C. I just want to coast.
Castilian's the type her dad taught her.
Just give me that easy C. I just want to coast. Let's go.
C for coasting.
Yeah.
That's really all
Can
I
I
have
make
to
a
say.
tiny announcement? Is that allowed?
Oh, what did you say?
Tiny
Sorry.
what?
Announcements
Oh, I was
are
just gonna
illegal.
say, could I
Yeah,
make a
go
tiny
ahead.
announcement? It's not really
You
an
can,
announcement.
you
technically.
can, but there's one condition.
Okay.
You have to say it as if it's a big announcement.
Oh. You clever minx, you. Alrighty, guys. Have some big news for you. At CabbageCon in less than 1 week, the greatest earthbender of all time is gonna be there. Yeah, it's me. I'm gonna be there.
Yay.
To be there? That's incredible. I've heard all about it.
Wait, no, King Boomy's gonna be there.
Top just kills both of us. Like, Nicole, she's like, the war's back
I'm
on.
gonna bury you in a rock-a-lanch.
Oh, isn't that the Boulder's best move? I'm such a fan.
No. That's King Boomy's famous like ice cream sundae.
Okay, I'm just saying it to be rude.
That
Why
Azula is the Boulder, like, is secretly a Boulder fan, like in her past. In her
She can't like admit it.
I'm saying it because I have a lot of aired diary fucking entries to brush off.
You're bitter that I revealed too many of your diary entries during the stream. I see. Weak.
Dang, but yeah.
I would offer to let you read mine, but I kind of can't write.
I was about to say.
It's okay, Toph. Unlike other dirt people, your literacy is actually justified. What? I'm a good person. I'm saying she's one of the good ones. What did I do wrong?
I have my work cut out for me in New Vegas, guys.
I'm a good person.
I was just like, just tell us all your greatest fears, thoughts, and anxieties, and it'll even itself out, I'm sure.
Anyway, Zilla, what do you have to say about this episode?
The Northern Air Temple, right?
Yeah.
We traumatized Zilla by saying that Ozai might have made Azula marry War Minister Chin. He's like, I can't right now. My brain.
It's not the craziest thing Mark Hamill would have ever done.
No, probably not.
Wait, in a Luke voice, can you imagine him going, well, at least you didn't kiss your sisters.
Yeah, it's like, here, I could probably do that. I think I'm still young enough to do it. It's like, well, at least you didn't kiss your sister, Zuko.
Pretty good. I wanna hear Zilla's too, since he also does a really good Mark Hamill.
Well, at least you didn't kiss your sister, Zuko.
Both pretty good. I love
now,
you
if you would do
guys.
how it should have ended, damn, you're hot. Gross! It could be related. Never stopped me before.
Oh gosh.
I feel like we've been talking about kissing sisters a bit too long.
I was gonna say, Zilla, do you have any non-sister kissing thoughts to share?
Because I have more
I
sister
didn't
kissing
start
thoughts if
that.
you want to hear them.
I didn't
Yeah,
start
I
that.
want to hear
Yeah,
that.
Zilla didn't start the fire.
It was always burning since the wheel's been turning.
You started it, not me.
I started it. I started
Alright.
the fire. I'm not ashamed.
Leave it to the sister to
started it,
start the
Lucy.
sister kissing.
I have started. It's an Azula voice actor tradition. Great Lyle started it.
Eh,
So yeah.
that is a good point.
All right, episode thoughts. Zilla, go.
Okay.
I liked it when Katara had kissed Sokka.
Oh gosh, shut up.
Episode
No!
thoughts. Go.
God
Tell
damn
it to Natla. Tell it to Natla.
I hate the creators for that part of the show.
That was weird.
Too weird.
I'm glad that didn't actually happen, but God. Anyway. All right, where were we? Northern Air Temple. Okay. I think we've touched on it already, but with the Mechanist being in a position where he really had no choice but to make these technology things for the Fire Nation. But but when Aang told him to fuck off, well, Aang told the War Minister to fuck off. I think that might have inspired them to the Mechanist and everyone else to stand up to them, to the Fire Nation.
Very true.
Yeah, as a rallying point.
Aang
It was a rallying thing.
He does inspire people, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was. It's like at that moment, I think the Mechanist realized he's maybe I don't have to keep doing this.
Yeah, that you have a choice.
And a little later, he said he wanted to help.
Empower
Fire Nation
people.
out. Yeah.
Empower people to make the choices they
sometimes
wish they could make, yeah.
Sometimes people need some encouraging.
I see some people in chat saying they want Azula to play Animal Crossing. All right, if somebody will super chat, I will absolutely play some Animal Crossing tomorrow. How does that sound?
We have stuff to do. Are you sure you could do that?
I can do it. I will play some Animal Crossing if people super chat for it. I don't know what's the price. How much could Animal Crossing cost?
Okay,
like,
first of all, do you have Animal
Come
Crossing?
visit my island.
I don't have it, but other people have it. I don't know.
I mean, I know someone in this household has
Yeah,
it.
but that's on Switch. I don't know how you even stream from a Switch. I don't
You need a special card. It's like a graphics card.
I mean, there are plenty of like HDMI capture cards that it just
There you go,
captures
capture
anything
card,
being
that's the word.
sent, just being sent. It captures anything sent on the HDMI signal.
Yes, but I do not have any money. Like, not even a cent.
Yeah.
So,
Like, not even a single cent.
I feel like it's gonna have to be at least $60 actually.
So, all
Nintendo-
right,
yeah,
guys,
Nintendo
if
games
you'll
don't go down.
buy it, I will absolutely do it for you. But I do not have the money, guys. I'm sorry.
Sokka calling Zuko Scarboy in the pilot made me flinch knowing what I knew. Bandy K.
Oh no.
It's
I haven't actually seen the pilot.
It's on
That's a thing.
YouTube.
The pilot is kind of jank. The armor's kind of wonky looking.
The
but,
faces are a little.
And Katara's name is Kaya, but it's still pretty cool to see that they already, kind
Aang
of
can-
knew the vibe they were going for.
Aang can go into the Avatar state like it's Super Saiyan.
Nice.
Does Zuko have his, I don't remember, his messenger hawk in the pilot?
think he does.
Yeah, because he originally was supposed to have a messenger
And-
hawk that was going to
and-
be Momo's rival.
And I think his scar is on the wrong side.
It is not on the wrong side.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, in that pilot, I think it is.
Hey. I had an idea about what Dilla had said a few minutes ago. How he was talking about how the Mechanist was inspired to make a different choice and to choose other than supporting the war.
He was empowered too, yeah.
Yeah, he was empowered, exactly. He was empowered. And I think that touches back on some things we discussed on some of the other episodes, that's kind of like the momentum behind Aang. Like, it's not just that he's the Avatar, but it's how he empowers the people that he meets, even the everyday people in their everyday struggles, and even the important people. I don't think that this 12-year-old kid, in the span of a few months, could have rallied the entire world behind him in such a way if he didn't have that empowering air about him that he's able to
pun
inspire
intended.
to Exactly. Like I think that also bounces back to our discussions about how Aang grew up in a world without war, and that lends itself to his wide-eyed idealism, and how that childlike belief in things are going to work out is so charismatic to those that encounter him, and why it gives him such a momentum that turns the tide in situations that, you know, force and logistics and all of that is not necessarily going to be enough, but he instills that hope, that belief in people, that things are going to work out. He has that je ne sais quoi, that special X factor that empowers people to make better choices and to rally behind him.
Say he fills people with hope.
Mm-hmm.
So much hope that it makes you tear bend.
Yeah. I mean, he is the Avatar, master of all bending.
But no, it's very
Metal
true.
bending.
I think that is a huge part of the theme, that what Aang brings to the world is more than just the fact that he's physically strong as the Avatar. The more valuable part is the hope that he instills in people that were previously hopeless.
Right.
And
especially after being gone for 100 years. The people who, there was a set schedule for the Avatar, and then he was just not there.
He was just late for
And the world
anime
we needed
school.
to
Cut the
most
kid a
totally
break.
get it. And there were people who might have believed in this phenomenon that had been going on, you know, dates back hundreds of generations. But when, you know, one person just falls through, or one promise is unmet, and that's all it takes is a generation for people to lose faith and to lose heart in this belief that had otherwise seemed ironclad as like some fundamental law of nature. But just like it had taken one generation, a 100-year scope for people to lose faith, it can take one generation for people to gain faith again.
Yeah, nobody in this world has ever known what this world was like before war, with small exceptions like Boomy. But the majority of people have never known a world without this war. So how could they possibly have hope for something they've never seen? Which is exactly how propaganda works, really. It's how demoralization works. Is it's not that you have to convince people of a falsehood. It's much easier to wait for the people who know better to die. A perfect example, and I'm sure you've seen some of this too, Cow. I saw somebody recently posting, it was a Gen Z person saying that they were sick of the propaganda saying that people used to be able to support a family on a single income. And
oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
Yeah, and it really hit me because it's like, no, that was real. There was a time where you could afford to feed a family and have a house on a single income, but all they had to do is wait it out and know that a generation would come in that had never known that life. And so to them, it sounds fake. Like someone's just saying it. They can't even fight for something that's been stolen from them because they don't realize anything's been stolen. And I think in a way here in Avatar, as horrible as the war is, like you're saying, people don't feel empowered to make a choice. This is just their normal, as horrible as it is. And like you're saying, Cow, Aang has the perspective of the world before the war. He knows another world is possible, and he brings people that hope, and they feel empowered to make a different choice. So I think
and I think I think it's very textbook of like an abusive relationship on multiple scales. So like even in terms of like an abusive interpersonal relationship, like let's say a spouse or something. And one of the first things that abusers do is they cut off your other things. They cut you off from your friends and your family. So you don't have someone else to soundboard off of to confirm what you're feeling, what you're seeing. You're only getting one stream of input. And you see the same thing with tyrannical dictatorships. I mean, look at North Korea. The same principle of, if you only know what I tell you, it's that much easier to control what you think. And so just as like with an abusive situation, having somebody from the outside pull you out of it, kind of jar you from that state of mind, is so like, you know, they're like, oh well, the therapist didn't say anything revolutionary, but it's the fact that somebody else can come in and look at the situation and be objective and tell you things are not supposed to be this way, when all you've had is this one stream of information prior. And it's the same thing. These people were living under the assumption that there is no hope, that Fire Nation is going to win. Every avenue of hope or every avenue of alternate information has been cut off. They've just been reaffirmed over and over and over again. Fire Nation is going to win. You belong at the bottom, like over and over. This is how things are going to be. And then suddenly this other person comes in who can shake up the entire worldview, and it's a paradigm shift. And now it's okay to believe because this person is making things happen. Even though it's not just Aang making things happen, but he is that spark that is igniting the world.
I would argue that that's even why hero myths are so common in human culture.
Oh, definitely.
Because we've seen this happen. It's something that's always been the case. People, the very thing that makes people so strong and adaptable is the same thing that makes us so prone to getting kind of weirdly used to suffering and thinking this is just something I have to put up with. And sometimes you need that other perspective to shake you out of it. I think that's why hero myths are so persistent, no matter the time period, no matter the culture. Sometimes you need that perspective to come in and tell you, no, it can be better. And I think that
makes
why Avatar works. It's just another hero myth, right? Just like that.
Yeah, well, it makes me think of, in Arabic, the word for heart is qalb, and the word for to turn is kalkalab, which the root word is still heart, because the heart is known to turn. It is not something that stays in the same place. It is known to shift and to turn with different things around it, with different input in the way you care for it, the way you take care of your heart, and the things that your heart experiences. So I think that goes to show you leave your heart in a barren world full of danger and death and despair, and it's gonna get used to being there, but you give it hope and it's gonna flip over. It's not gonna hesitate.
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. I love being here with you guys. You guys teach me so many things even I didn't know, and then I get to repeat it and come off like the smartest person in the room. I love you guys.
Yeah. So I think unless you had any last things, I think that wraps up all of our thoughts here.
I mean,
I will specify with the Arabic thing. It's usually usually people talk about it as in like the heart is fickle. So like guard your heart so that you're not easily swayed to believe in nonsense. But I think the same is true. Like if you're easily swayed to believe in nonsense, you can also be easily swayed to believe in the truth. And just knowing when to let your heart wander and when to not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying Zilla.
Sorry.
Just the sense of hope that Aang is bringing to these people little by little. It's like it's reflected with the Mechanist, because he showed him that there is another way.
You know, I think in a way they also gave Aang hope. The hope that even though his people are gone, that the spirit of them doesn't have to die, that there can be a new version. So I think in a weird way, in inspiring these people and giving them hope and preserving and protecting them, Aang is doing what he couldn't do for his own people, right?
He's finding his own hope.
Yeah.
For the future.
It's a snowball effect, or like the butterfly effect. Like so one person's hope begets hope. It's you let it one match and it spreads. It's that same principle. And
there's that old proverb that the best way to find healing is to help another person.
Exactly.
Maybe the real air nomad culture is the friends we made along the way.
But actually, yeah, but like unironically, yeah.
All right, I think that does it then. So yeah, just final things as before. Again, search is what's coming up next in terms of episodes, so look forward to that, and we will be talking about it at CabbageCon coming up this Saturday. And yeah, so I think this is going to be, because SAC Anime was a lot of us together, but I think this is going to be the largest concentration of the Book 4 people meeting up in one place.
So far,
I would love to come, but I can't.
That's understandable, but
for the day we get to hang out, Zilla, because if we get to go to a con together, all we're gonna do, I already know, we're gonna duck behind like Avatar booths that like Avatar stuff, and just do Ozai and Azula voices to scare passerbys. Like, let's just record that.
That would be awesome.
It'd be so good. Like I've been wanting to do that.
Family prank session is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I just want Zilla and I to like find any booth that's selling Avatar merch, because obviously Avatar fans are going to be drawn there, and like find a place to hide and just stealthily like say things in their voices and have people be like, "What the hell?"
And then come out. Oh, they'd be like, "What's up, gamers?"
God damn it.
Yeah.
Daddy, we don't say gamers anymore. That's a gamer word. You can't just say that.
Yes.
This just said Fire Lord Ozai had a heated gamer moment since he is the Fire Lord.
I think he had a little more than a heated gamer moment, considering what he did.
Did Fire Lord Ozai become the new Riz King?
Oh god.
Fire Lord Ozai, your high score has been beaten by the Legend 27. Where does he live? Somewhere in the Earth Kingdom. That's all I need to know!
The entire Earth Kingdom.
Rain fire on the Earth Kingdom.
Oh, you're so dramatic. The entire Fire family is so freaking dramatic, guys. They can never half do anything. Like,
yeah. I was about. Yeah. So
You
yeah.
gotta
Look forward. So yeah.
I do mean all of them. Ira was ready to cry over tea. Like they are all dramatic. All of them.
Dang.
I don't have a tea set, Iroh. Everybody.
I mean,
has a tea
Azulon
set.
was gonna kill a family member over some disrespect, so
Yeah.
they're all dramatic.
They're all super. They all get sick the first time they do a good deed. Like
Yeah.
Iroh abandons the siege of Ba Sing Se, and then he's too like distraught over losing his son and abandoning the siege that he can't even fight Ozai. Zuko releases Appa, has a whole like fever filled with dreams and hallucinations. Azula freaking decides not to kill her friends and just imprison them. Freaking has a mental breakdown. Like anything to do a nice deed. They freaking
Yeah, I'm
lose
gonna
their
make you
mind.
laugh this year.
I guess that's nice for her standards.
Ozai's probably just like, y'all are weak. I've never had a mental breakdown ever.
That-
Not
that
realizing
is
he's
why-
admitting.
That
Never
is why
done it.
Ozai always has such perfect skin.
You are a mental
Yeah.
break.
You guys want to hear a joke?
Of course.
Brother, you need to chill out and drink some tea. I don't have a tea set, Iroh. Everybody has a tea set. It came free with your fucking pie show table.
I have the oldest pie show table that came out.
Freaking.
So
I have the oldest pie show table known to Sozin.
Oh gosh.
Plus, you have a teapot. We're royalty.
We're royalty.
Royalty.
Dude, I saw some fans saying that like the good members of the Fire family love tea and the bad members of the Fire family hate tea. I don't know where they got this idea because one, Ozai also likes tea. Like just because Iroh's always talking about it and is more obsessed than most doesn't mean Ozai doesn't also like tea. Two, Azula also is shown to drink tea and like it. The only one that doesn't like tea that much is Zuko. So if you're defining morality by tea likes, you are ranking Zuko as worse than Ozai. I was like, I don't think you should judge
I am better
morality.
than Zuko.
Have you ever seen the video talking about why Iroh likes tea so much?
No, I haven't.
It's because it embodies his philosophy of harmony between all four elements. Creating a good cup of tea requires a clay pot, earth, a solution for the tea leaves, water, a source of heat, fire, and a way to cool it down, air.
This is especially funny when you realize that Iroh is shown incorrectly making tea on the show. So that's even funnier.
All right, we should wrap it up. It's getting late for some of our Eastern time.
Okay, then I won't elaborate and you guys will wonder forever what he did wrong. I actually like that. That's a cliffhanger.
There's for next time in 2 weeks.
For next time.
You'll have plenty of time to explain it.
Yeah. No, I actually prefer that. Leave them wondering what did Iroh
They're gonna
do wrong?
search every episode. Like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
That's
So
it. Where's the rest of it?
So yeah, in summary, we'll see you guys at CabbageCon. It will include myself. It will include Lucia and Cade, the fire siblings. It will include, of course, the Avatar, Ryoma. As she just announced, Calther, voice of Toph, will be there, and
It'll be the face reveal of our executive producer.
Oh yeah, our executive producer will be there. Iroh's voice will be there. Hotan's voice will be there.
And
everyone's gonna be there except me.
I know. I wish you were.
We'll FaceTime you. We'll Skype you in there. We'll figure it out.
I'm fine with that.
And
I don't know if that'll actually be possible. I don't know the setup. I haven't been in the room yet. But
ask me.
Yeah.
I ask me about my mixology tips. I guess that's my function on this.
Is this the mixologist? Actually, that's a great
Hey
title.
guys, here's the official Hotan. Clap for him.
Dude, the official Hotan drink book. Let's go. Made by the voice of Hotan. Keep the doom away with alcohol. A healthy coping mechanism.
Better for you than tea.
I have a thing about what I do for like a Lily Lovers based cocktail.
Don't spoil it, but I really want to know because that sounds awesome.
I can't spoil
Don't
it.
put
I haven't
liver
come
in
up with
there.
it yet.
Oh,
beg of
okay.
you.
I do love it. You guys are gonna have to tune in to find out what Adam ends up doing for the
Good.
Lily Livers.
Oh,
Good.
but there will be a special preview though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Again, which you will only be able to see at the convention or on our Patreon. So again,
Yes. Special previews of the search.
And
Zilla, if you want to see it, you just have to burn Zuko's face and then you can see it.
good luck burning my face. I'm all the way over here, Dad.
He just goes, Azula, burn him for me. And I go,
You heard what I said.
got him.
With hot tea, no less.
all right.
With hot tea, the irony, his enemy.
All right. Good.
Alright.
Good night, everybody.
Alrighty then. Yes.
Good
We'll see
night.
you in a couple of weeks. You all
Yeah.
take care of
So-
yourselves.
Good night, everyone. See you for the finale.
Oh, James has one more thing to say.
Oh, what does James have to say? I wanna hear.
So, just to be clear, because we are at CabbageCon next week, we will be continuing our watch party the week after, finishing
Yes.
up the last 3 episodes of Book 1.
Yes.
So, our next stream today is the 6th. So, April 20th. Nice, Justin.
For 420.
Nice.
Let's go. Nice.
Totally planned from the start.
Of
We
course.
meant to do that.
I didn't plan it, but I was born lucky. So,
Truth
you know.
is, the game was rigged from the start.
Oh, no. Alrighty then.
But yeah,
Good night,
see you
everybody.
all then.
All right. Good night.